Hanny time. Hanny time. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, here's Charles Hanagriff.
From the Big Kahuna on Peachtree Center Avenue behind the Hyatt Regency, welcome to Hanny Time, SEC Championship Edition, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. I'm Charles Hanagriff, along with Jacob Hester and Mario Jerez, Taylor Sharp back in the studios in Baton Rouge. Bo and Danny hanging with us here, man in controls in Atlanta. Almost as if God always smiles on the Tigers. The sun just came out here in Atlanta. It's been gloomy all morning, but a little bit warmer than we're used to here in Atlanta for early December. That's okay.
Yeah.
And the LSU fans making their way into town. We saw a lot of them last night, seeing some more file in today. They are outnumbered.
They are.
And LSU comes in as a decided underdog in this game. So, Jake, we've been here for a little under a day now. This is the feel I get. I'm just run this by you, okay? We had Brad and run this by. I'm gonna run this by you on here. This is the feeling that I get, that between Jaden Daniels' injury and the Texas A&M game, Georgia's overall dominance in big games over the last 2 years, there's not many people giving LSU much of a chance to win this game.
No, not at all. It doesn't matter who you talk to. It can be someone who covers LSU like we do. It can be somebody who covers Georgia. It can be somebody who covers the SEC, national landscape. It doesn't matter. Like, it's hard to find someone that likes a matchup. Not more matchups for LSU than Georgia, but a matchup for LSU and where they can take advantage if there is anything to take advantage of against Georgia. Now, like, I would throw this to you because, you know, I was still in high school. You were covering this team, like 2001 LSU Tennessee. That was only a 7.5-point spread.
Yeah.
Did it feel like this one's feeling right now, or is this even more so of an underdog story?
This is way more of an underdog story because Tennessee was trying to play themselves into the national championship game that year. They were going to the Rose Bowl. There were a lot of orange roses on the ground after that game. But LSU was riding some momentum coming into that game. That was the 9/11 year, and the game against Auburn was pushed to the end of the season. And there was a lot of juice in Tiger Stadium that night, man, a lot. And LSU had kind of gotten on a run toward the end of the season. The losses earlier that they had had in the year were in the rearview mirror. Right. They lost a really ugly game to Ole Miss, but from that point forward, they hit the gas. And Rohan Davey went to Alabama and set a record. Josh Reed set a record. And then you push that game to December, the end of December. And what I remember is that in the prior years that LSU had a chance to come to the SEC championship game, they always had to go watch the Iron Bowl at that point in the season. Well, this time it was on LSU. It was, you win this game, because they'd always played Auburn in September. You win this game, and you're going to championship game, so your fate's in your hands. And it did feel like a little bit of house money because they had 3 losses in the league. And you're not supposed to make this game if you have 3 losses in the league. But the tiebreakers fell their way. That game at Tiger Stadium was really, really, I call it a lot of juice. It was, it felt like a monumental step for the program, not just for the team. So when they got here, they were riding a wave of momentum. Tennessee had beaten them earlier in the year, but it was with an unbelievable game by Kelly Washington. The receiver went for over 200 yards.
I was teammates with Kelly in San Diego.
Okay, so Kelly Washington crushed him in the game in Knoxville, not so much in the game here. Then the other curveball that was thrown in the game, LSU came in with a lot of momentum, a lot of confidence. And then in the game, Rohan gets hurt. Matt Maul goes in the game, and Tennessee really wasn't prepared for the running element. That was a real curveball to them, and no doubt was a major part of LSU winning that game. Not any of that really exists here. LSU's not riding a whole bunch of momentum right now. With that A&M loss was a kick in the gut.
How much does it change if A&M loss doesn't happen? If LSU goes in there last week, they win 34-21.
And Jaden Daniels comes out
unscathed? And Jaden Daniels comes out without a walking boot. What's your feeling? What's the spread?
It's probably worth 3 points. I think. I expected when this line opened that it would kind of inch back towards 2 touchdowns, that it opened somewhere around 16 and a half. I thought that it would come back closer towards 2. There would be some LSU money that would move it back toward. I thought it would go off at about 14 and a half.
Yeah.
I'm not great at, predicting lines all the time, but I didn't think that it would stay up at 16 or 17. Well, you put the Daniels injury, and Brian Kelly came out yesterday and said he's going to play.
Yeah.
But we don't know if he's compromised. Nobody but Jaden Daniels knows exactly how Jaden Daniels feels. Between that and a really, really ugly loss last week. I mean, if they had lost at Arkansas, and they lost 13-10, say the score was reversed, I think there would be it was a letdown after the Alabama game. It was cold. It was a morning start, blah, blah, et cetera. And then going and blown out A&M, I think they'd be feeling pretty good. This, they've had to lick their wounds a little bit this week. So you tell me what it's like to come off of a loss of that. And it didn't cost them a spot in this game, but, boy, it felt bad.
I've had that situation. 2007. We lost to Arkansas, unranked Arkansas team. Now, they weren't as bad as Texas A&M. The game was at home, different scenario, but we knew we still had something to play for. Now, we were the favorite coming into this game, so obviously that situation and that part of it's different, but you still have a chance to win an SEC championship game. So, like, being focused, being ready, being everything for this game, I don't see that being a problem for LSU. I just don't know that it matters. That's the problem. Like, you have to find the advantages to be able to go out there and beat a really good team, a really good Georgia team that's unselfish, that plays sound, that does everything right, the little things right. And so it's a little bit different, but every game is different. Every scenario is different. If you can't get ready for this game, if you're not locked in for this game, win, lose, or whatever last weekend, then you're doing it wrong. So this team has shown, Hanny, that it is a true 1 week from the other. Like, they don't really group things together, good, bad, or indifferent. So, like, that portion of it, I don't really worry about. It's how do you have success against this team that I'm starting to worry about.
Yeah. So here's another thing, and this is not particularly positive where LSU is concerned either, because I think some of the optimism, and there is some reason for optimism, but some of the optimism goes in the fact that Georgia looked mortal. They looked beatable when they played Kentucky, when they played Missouri, and at least for half, maybe even a little bit better than a half against Georgia Tech. But this is kind of a sobering statistic. When they played top 15 teams the last 2 years, besides Alabama, who I'm going to throw out, they've allowed 13 points or less in every one of those games, and I think there's 6 of them. When Georgia was clued in, when they were focused in, they blew Tennessee's doors off. Florida, which was just okay this year, but that's a big, big rivalry. It's a big, big deal for Georgia. Blew the doors off. When Oregon, came to Atlanta to open the season, and there was a lot of light on that game, Georgia blew the doors off. When they're focused and they're locked in, they are hell on wheels. Yeah. And that's the really concerning thing for LSU, because it's easy to forget. Georgia lost this game last year. And they have lost. They won the national.
Lost 3 last 4 of these.
Yeah,
I mean, they didn't play in one of them.
They won the national championship last year, but they lost this game. And I forget which one of their players would say, "Yeah, man, look, every time I've come to this game, I've lost." Yeah, a
bulk of them.
The idea that they will not be focused and really, really hungry for a team that's lost 1 game in 2 years to be really, really hungry. That's in play here. I would be shocked if Georgia doesn't have their best effort tomorrow.
And LSU's had the better of them. I mean, LSU has gotten the better of them over the last couple of meetings that they've had, right? I mean, even 2018, LSU at home. Georgia was supposed to win that game. A lot of people traveled to that game. And LSU, that was obviously their marquee win in that season. We know how 2019 went. And so, yeah, they want to win an SEC title. They want to do it against LSU. Do 18, 19, 20-year-olds, do they watch what happened last week against A&M and take LSU lightly? That's going to be a question. Kirby's going to have them ready to play as much as he can. But when you turn on that tape, you're like, man, that's a bad Texas A&M team. They let them do that to them. How much of that creeps into their mind? Because make no mistake about it, like, we're sitting here, I don't want to say LSU's little sisters of the poor. LSU's got Jimmys and Joes. They have the playmakers to go out there, be competitive, play in this game. They got a better talent roster than Kentucky. They got a better talent roster than Georgia Tech and Missouri and all those teams. But at the end of the day, you got to make them. You got to make the plays. You got to be not scared to make the plays. That's my key to this whole thing. You play a free half against Mississippi State. You play a free half against Ole Miss. You play a free half against Florida. That's great. You didn't play 4 quarters of being free. You did against Alabama and an overtime as well. It looked like a different team, right? When you're out in front, that looked like a different team. That looked like a team that was leading the charge. They were taking whatever narrative they wanted to their opponent. If you don't do that in this game, you have no chance. Now, if you do, with what we've seen, you can beat any team in the country. So that to me is, do they play free? Do they play confident? There has to be like a recklessness to their approach as well, controlled recklessness. Like if you have a one-on-one matchup, Hanny, take that one-on-one matchup because you don't know how many of those you're going to get.
Don't tell me, tell 5.
Yeah. If you see Brian Thomas down there and it's one-on-one and you want to take your chance, this is a game you take your chance. You don't try to play to lose a close game. You try to go win a game. And so when Jaden's been at his best, I'm not telling any LSU fan any breaking news. That's what he's done. That's why the memory in my head of this season is Brian Kelly yelling, "You've got one-on-one," with a couple of extra words in there against Tennessee. It's there. You have Sunday players on the outside. They do too, but trust your Sunday player is going to make the play. Because, look, college defensive backs, they're either going to let you catch the football, they're going to panic and have a pass interference, right? Or they might, the 20% of it, make a play on the football. So for me, I mean, it sounds simple. That's the key to the game, trusting your receivers, making the play, playing free.
And I do think it matters how the game starts. It's kind of been a running joke on pregame for years, in the keys to the V section. We'll get off to a good start. Well, duh, okay? But here it matters because the quarterback has reacted either positively or negatively to things that have happened early in the game, okay? Against Ole Miss, some positive things started to happen in that second quarter offensively for LSU after a couple, bang, bang. But then he really got into a rhythm. And certainly against Alabama, they rode the momentum of that opening interception, and he got rolling. He got really, really comfortable. On the other hand, against Arkansas with the early turnovers, he seemed to tighten up a little bit, seemed reluctant to push the ball down the field. And once they fell behind at Texas A&M, it felt a lot the same way. So him going out and having some success early, I don't know what Denbrock has got in the script. Honestly, LSU has not been a very good offensive script team.
No.
It's been
better when they're off script for sure.
Yeah, it's kind of baffling to me, because those 15 plays or so are supposed to be the ones that you are the most comfortable with. These are our best. This is our best stuff. This is the stuff we feel most comfortable with. And frankly, LSU hasn't taken a lot of opening drives and just run it right down the field. Whatever it is that's in that script tomorrow, better work. If LSU is going to get off to that kind of start and get Daniels playing with that confidence that where he's been at his best.
And they'll give you that. Georgia will give you that. Georgia's a team. They want to figure out what you're going to do. That's why they've had what you want to call maybe slow starts. They play quarters coverage to start a game. Now, they'll switch it, and they'll end up going to cover 3. They're going to probably play a lot of cover 1 in this one. I'm sitting here, and I'm looking at their breakdowns right now. They don't play a ton of cover 1. I guarantee you tomorrow with Jaden Daniels, they get an extra player in that box. But typically for them, they come out in quarters coverage, and they're like, hey, I want to see what you're going to do. I'll give you some fluff yards, if you will, because we don't believe you can make the play to be able to extend a drive, get the ball in the end zone, even put it through the uprights. Well, if it's there for the taking, Hanny, you got a scheme to that. But this team is just so much better when they're off script and when they're just going. And that's when they're at their best. Why not, crazy thought here, just start the game off script. Start the game in a 2-minute type of situation. Hey, let's go out there. Let's just hurry up. Let's get to the ball. Let's get to the line of scrimmage. Let's call it from the sideline. But let's have a pace to us. Yeah. Because that's really, like, look at the success that they've had. You could go all the way back to the Florida State game. When this team is humming, it's when they're just kind of going out there. They've got the pace to them, and it's not, hey, we know exactly the first 12 plays of the game.
It's an aggressive approach, and that's exactly, as a 2.5 touchdown underdog, the approach I would take. if it works, fantastic. There's a downside to it. You go out there and you go fast for the first 2 drives, and you go 3 and out or 4 and out the first couple of drives, and you might find yourself in a.
But again,
but you might do that anyway.
But again, that's playing not to lose by a lot.
Yeah,
that's playing to have it not get out of hand.
Cautious.
And if you play this game to not get out of hand, it's going to get out of hand extremely fast. If they do that, I would be so disappointed if they come out, Hanny, trying to lose 24-10.
I don't think that they will, and I'm going to go back to something Brian Kelly said after the Tennessee game. And listen, after the Tennessee game, nobody wanted to hear anything. But, number one, he said, listen, the quarterback came around here and started to make some plays and was our best offensive player. Everybody said, you just got blown out of your own stadium. I don't want to hear that. But it was true.
Yeah.
And the second thing was that he had started to take some chances because he didn't want to play the game close. Like, he fully admitted he could have taken a field goal. He said, I could have kept it a little bit closer. We weren't going to win.
Yeah.
And we went through those 4th downs, the 4th and 5 down at the 20-yard line where Boutte comes up, 6 inches short. I thought that was a reasonable call. The 4th and 1 from, I think it was the 43, was a reasonable call. I thought the one at the very end of the half was a bit much, but I at least understood where he was coming from. I'm not coming here to cover the spread. You'll excuse it. Sorry, Jimmy.
I was about to say, don't tell Otter that.
Yeah, he's not coming here to keep it within 17 points. He's coming here to win the game. And if you lose the game, it doesn't matter if you lose it by 3 or 33. No. They don't. The second place trophy is the same. So. Yes. Go in there and, if you're going to die with your boots on, if you're going to die.
Yeah.
It's a song once.
It was, and pretty good one. Look, for me, it's like you have to have that game plan, but you have to execute. I mean, it seems so cliche, but like you mentioned, coming up 6 inches short on that. Well, get to the sticks. Find a way to get that first down. Whatever the situation is. Like if your coach, that's the thing. If your coach is showing you the faith of, hey, I'm rolling the dice with you. That's what people always ask me about the Florida game and the 4th downs. Like, were y'all so nervous? It's like, hell no. We didn't want to disappoint our coach.
Yeah.
Our coach is putting his faith into us. Tim Tebow is on that other sideline, and our coach says, on the other side of the 50, now we're going. We're going for it. And so what do you have to do? You got to make the damn play. You got to go out there and execute. You got to pick up a first down. So for me, I hope that if this team gets that confidence from their head coach saying, hey, stay on there. We're going. We're going. Well, by God, I'm not letting that fella down, okay, because he's putting faith in me. And so that is the hope if you're an LSU fan. If the coach plays that style of game, you reward him by giving his faith in you, by showing him there's a reason he had that faith in you. So I'd actually love if you played the game with the same intensity.
We're here at the Big Kahuna. We'll be here for the next 6 hours. Matt Moscona's AFR will follow us. We'll be taking over the Hunt's part of the show. Hunt's going to be with us for part of that show, but we're going to take you all the way until 3 o'clock. LSU fans, come down to Big Kahuna. We're on Old Peachtree Center Avenue. You got to get your peach trees right, okay?
There's a lot of them.
If you come to Atlanta, you better learn your peach trees. Peachtree Center Avenue is behind the Hyatt. Lots of TVs, burgers, tacos, seafood. They're running a special on hurricanes and Tiger Kahuna Punch. I don't know what that is, but I got a feeling that by the end of the day, we're all going to know what Tiger Kahuna Punch is. I'm just guessing it's a potent concoction here. There's outdoor seating, and as we mentioned at the top of the show, the sun just came out here maybe 20-30 minutes ago, so it's nice outdoor seating. They're open late tonight and tomorrow night. We're going to be here for post-game tomorrow night. You want to come by here tonight, watch the Pac-12 championship game, USC and Utah. They'll have that on. Games all day tomorrow. So if you're staying downtown Atlanta, we're not terribly far away from the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Come on by and see us at the Big Kahuna. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time. This is Hanny Time.
If you're having problems with staffing as a business owner, you are not alone. Let Tiger Labor and Staffing help you out. Listen, This is a frustrating and time-consuming process for staffing. Between the interviews and the background check, all the expenses you go to towards payroll, the onboarding, all of the no-show interviews or people that aren't qualified for the jobs that you need them for, let Tiger Labor and Staffing take care of all of that for you. Whether you need somebody for a day, a week, or a month, you control your labor expenses. You have more flexibility. If you need more employees for, say, the holiday season, or if you're in any kind of seasonal business, you need extra employees for a short period of time, here is your ticket. And you want to lower your employment risk. The temp to hire option is only 60 days. That's the lowest in the industry. If you're looking for a job, Tiger Labor and Staffing welcomes skilled and unskilled labor. They'll match you with a job that fits. Quick turnarounds on pay. You get your work done without the worries. Tiger Labor and Staffing, success begins with the eye of the tiger. Go to tigerlabor.com.
Today's special edition of Football Friday live from Atlanta is presented by Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, and you can hear it on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Make Churchill's your gift-giving headquarters with a wide selection of gift sets for Christmas, including fine wine, select spirits, premium cigars, and accessories. Churchill's is sure to have a special package that would make anyone's face light up like a Christmas tree. Plus, Churchill's new expanded bar area is perfect for your holiday party. Locally owned and operated since 1997, visit Churchill's new location this Christmas, 2561 City Place.
Michelle Southern along with Farron Fabry Bolton at Acura Baton Rouge. Farron inventory's getting tight on pre-owned cars, I hear.
It is. It's getting harder to get these vehicles. And once we have them, we put them through 182-point inspection, and that's done by an Acura certified technician, so you know you're in the best hands. But once again, the time to come in is now. It's getting harder to get these vehicles, so take advantage of it while we have them.
Acura pre-owned certified cars now on the lot at Acura Baton Rouge, Airline Highway south of Siegen, or online at AcuraVR.com.
If you're a small business owner, you've probably noticed how the big banks like to force you into one-size-fits-all financial service products. At Neighbors Federal Credit Union, we've created a suite of flexible commercial checking accounts designed to fit the specific needs of your local business. And with 9 full-service locations throughout Greater Baton Rouge, we're always just around the corner. We're a local small business looking out for other local small businesses. Learn more about Neighbors commercial checking accounts by visiting neighborsfcu.org. Neighbors Federal Credit Union. We're here for you. Insured by NCUA.
At Small Sliders, we're obsessively focused on serving the best cheeseburger slider. Being fussy about the small things pays off. One cook-to-order victory at a time. We're Smalls In. Visit Small Sliders on Nicholson, Bluebonnet, and now open in Prairieville.
Hey, it's Jan from Toyota, reminding you that Toyotathon is on and here to help make your holidays extra magical. How? Maybe it's driving in a Tacoma in search of the perfect hill to sled down. Or surprising loved ones in a RAV4 hybrid.
You made it!
And seeing their faces light up when you pull up to their home.
Dealer inventory may vary. Current offers on these vehicles end November 30th. Offers are subject to change throughout Toyotathon, which ends on January 3rd. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Toyota, let's go places.
Join Breck's Baton Rouge Zoo for Zoo Lights, November 25th through December 30th. This festive evening trail through the zoo is presented by Children's Hospital of New Orleans and boasts more than 50 illuminated sculptures for the whole family to enjoy. This year, every guest presenting a non-perishable food item during the hours of Zoo Lights will receive 50% off the regular admission price, and all donations will go to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. Now that's a dazzling way to make a difference this holiday season. Learn more at www.brzoo.org.
T-Bob here for St. Vincent de Paul. Make a donation that truly helps people in need. If you have a boat, car, motorcycle, or RV you no longer use, please consider donating it to St. Vincent de Paul. This donation could get you a tax deduction. Go to svdpbr.org.
Join me, Jimmy Ott, 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with bunch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannigrave. Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannigrave on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're back here at the Big Kahuna. coverage here is brought to you by Hudco Roofing, and we join now. We're running back heavy here today. We decided to bring in somebody a little bit faster than Hester, so we brought Justin
Where's
Vincent.
he at?
Yeah, you already
Where's
know.
that person at? I haven't seen that person.
We brought Justin Vincent, and he knows a little something about playing in this game and having some success in this game. 2003 MVP. JV, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. Just happy to be here.
All right, you know all about the hype and the build up for this game and all of the pressure with it. So what are these guys feeling right now? The day before the game.
I think this situation for these guys are a little bit different. Obviously, anxiety's there. They want to do well. Obviously, they would love to knock Georgia off their throne and make a difficult decision for the CFP. But having a lackluster performance last week, I think they're going to try to bounce back strongly. Obviously, the anticipation, the atmosphere, and the fanfare kind of gets – obviously, there'll be a lot of red out there tomorrow. But I think our guys will show up to play. What we saw last week, I think, is very uncharacteristic of this team, and they will try to find a way to get it done.
A lot of eyes on Jaden Daniels, and boy, when he's been good, he's been really, really good. And at times when he's played a little bit tight, when they made some mistakes, and now he's got an injury to deal with as well. There's a lot of people that think that this is on Jaden Daniels tomorrow. If he plays well, LSU's got a great chance, and if he doesn't, they're going to really struggle to stay in this game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a game-time decision. Obviously, Jaden, that offense goes through him, whether it's running, whether it's passing. He is a true leader, has a lot of poise. Hopefully he can get out there and be healthy enough to get out there to perform. But we all don't know. That injury last week, I saw him earlier during the week. He wasn't looking like he was favoring it either, but at the same time, you never know with those high ankle sprains how they go. You try to rush back too soon, you could kind of further the damage and be a long-lasting thing. But, I think these guys are going, adrenaline aside, I think they're going to be ready to go, and I think he'll do a great job.
I wonder how the game plan is going to come together, because Georgia's given up 11 points per game. They're one of the best defenses in the country. Nobody's really had a ton of success against them. Anthony Richardson threw for 270, made a couple of runs, but if Jaden Daniels isn't 100% JV, I don't really know what the attack is going to be.
Yeah, it's going to look totally different with Nuss in there. It's going to look totally different. They're not going to be able to call the same plays. Georgia, they're not the same defense from last year, but they do pose a serious threat. Like you said, only giving up 11 to 12 points per game. Obviously, the majority of that came from Mizzou early on in the year, too.
Yeah.
So I think, the game plan should be even keeled right now. If Jaden's in there, then go full bore. But, at the end of the day, you look at it like this. They have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I'm understanding you. You're saying that there's got to be a contingency plan for Daniels not to be able to go. That's up
because Hanny, if he takes one hit on that ankle, somebody rolls him up a little bit.
I mean, more so than just your normal, hey, we got to get to back up some reps. This has got to be more to the forefront.
I don't know this, but I would assume Nuss, like at the end of team, if it's 12 plays, Nuss got 3 of the 12. Like Jay probably got 9, and I would see Nuss getting maybe 3. Just Handy, because you're trying to get that guy ready in case he doesn't just walk in there cold.
Yeah, and they may have had added on an extra, 5 or 6 plays for him.
For sure.
I mean, you never know. I mean, just like you said, if he gets rolled up, somebody steps on him wrong, or he drops back different, putting pressure on that spot. I mean, it's kind of up in the air, but there definitely has to be a contingency plan if Jaden can't play.
Well, we've seen LSU have success in this game with a backup quarterback before.
Oh yeah.
The
multiple
opposition
times.
That the opposition wasn't exactly ready for. Listen, if Nussmeier's got to play tomorrow, this may sound crazy, but the one thing that cat ain't scared.
No.
He will you want to put the ball up and give your receivers a chance to make a play. Now, he may throw 3 interceptions in 4 drives.
Yeah.
Well, he'll put it up there, and he'll give those guys a chance to go up there and make a play.
That's one thing you don't have to worry about. Fear is nowhere near his heart. I promise you. I promise you that.
JV, when you look at this Georgia team, I don't want to compare them to last year. It was a whole different season, but they've struggled a little bit against some of the teams that weren't as good, against the Missouri, against the Kentucky. But when the lights came on and they had to play Tennessee and everybody was watching, and Oregon and everybody was watching, they blew the doors off. So when you look at this group, what do you see?
Just a bunch of ball-playing Jessies, man. They can get after it. I think Stetson Bennett early on in his career was kind of frowned upon, and he's kind of earned that status of an elite quarterback. I mean, you got your team rolling 11-0. what more can you ask from a guy who essentially was a walk-on, earned a scholarship?
They tried to replace him
so many times.
73 times, including this year. Coming into this year, Caleb Williams was on their radar, and that man just won a national championship. It's like, yeah, you're okay for us, but we're trying to get better every single year. But he's just stayed the course.
He's steady Eddie, man, and that's one thing I got to tip my hat out to him. He is somebody who can deliver the deep ball, and I think that's one thing that Georgia does well. If anybody who watches them quite a bit, they run the ball effectively, not as effective as a lot of other teams in our league, but enough to make DBs and secondaries bite, and they throw the heck out of the deep ball. Brock Bowers is probably the best tight end in the country. He's going to win the Mackey. He does really, really well in space when the ball's in his hand. And Lag McConkey, their little inside slot receiver, I mean, he doesn't look fast, but he got some burners.
He does.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not your typical slot receiver where he's going to route you up.
Yeah.
I mean, he can make a play down the field. That's going to be a key for me as well, JV. How do they match up with those guys? Who's on Brock Bowers? Who's on Lag McConkey? Who is going to be on Darnell Washington, who's a mismatch for almost anybody with his size? But how do you treat those guys? Do they treat Brock Bowers like a true receiver? Do they put Jay Ward on him? Do they put Fouché on Darnell Washington, try to be a little bit more physical? That's going to be key because
you can't put a backer unless it's Perkins. You can't put a backer on Brock Bowers. It's got to be somebody with some nice hips that can put their foot in the ground and run and kind of distort his route tree and make things uncomfortable. But I think it'll all lead down to what our ends do. If we can get pressure and put Stetson Bennett in harm's way and get him to throw a couple of 50-50 balls here and there, I mean, heck, you never know, man. I think I'm optimistic as hell, but at the same time, the game has to be played, and we don't know what we don't know.
Glad you brought up Perkins because there is a very strong move by the coaches the last few weeks, opposition coaches, to get him away from the football, get him out of the box, get him playing outside the hash, get him in coverage, just get him the hell away from the quarterback. So what's Matt House's charge this week? What's his game plan got to be to make sure that Perkins is in a position to make plays and is not schemed out of where he needs to be?
Yeah, they got to mix it up, man. I think, when I was in Pittsburgh, they did a really good job, but we did this thing called the mixer, where everybody was standing up. I'm talking all front seven, and they were just moving around. Obviously, you get back to where you need to be when it's getting down to time.
I can tell you all about that.
Yeah, Jacob had his handful with that.
Yeah.
We call it the mixer. He had a handful with that.
I mean, Woodley's walking around, Timmons walking around, Foot's walking around.
James Harrison was on that team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Dick LeBeau did a hell of a job.
You better find that guy.
And listen, it's so hard for your center or your quarterback to declare who's the mic. Obviously, your big guys would be your 3 or 4 down. But if you declare the wrong guy, God help you. Yeah. God help you. So, and that's what made that defense so special. Now, if he can do something like that where he can mix it up, have a guy stand up here and do this here and walk around where they can't make the points and you can't slide to Perkins or bump him out.
Can you do that in a week? I mean, how much can you really put in a week?
Well, you can, and we haven't had to do that this year. They might have had that on the table already. We have no idea. You would hope they did, but in a week's time, I mean, you put a couple different packages in, I think it's more than capable of getting the job done. But yeah, like you said, the offenses have been scheming to get him out the box and kind of bump him out. Yeah. But if he puts his hand in the dirt, we're gonna get back there.
And he's kind of struggled in coverage a little bit, as all true freshmen do. I mean, it's not like you're covering high school. I'm looking at the Pro Football Focus grade from a week ago, and he was 40%, the lowest rated defensive player for LSU in coverage. Right, so it's not something that he, at this point, probably understands as well as getting after the quarterback. Getting after the quarterback, say, hey, line up here, go get that guy, and you can do it. So LSU needs to find a scheme where even if they try to scheme him out, somebody else walks out there and they play the nickel Sam, and it's not Harold Perkins.
Oh, no doubt. Walk with Fouché down or Jay Ward or whoever it is. If that running back comes out of the backfield or your tight end's in at hip and he flexes out, let somebody else go and let him come up the field and make that pocket small and make some bad decisions.
Justin Vincent is our guest. JV, you knew Kirby Smart before he was Kirby Smart, right?
100%.
Okay,
I knew grad assistant Kirby Smart.
Yeah, so you've known him for over 20 years. When you got to know him, and it's been a little bit of time with it, you say, man, I'm talking about 20 years ago. You said, man, that guy's going to be a head coach one day. This guy's going to be a huge, huge success. Did he show you that?
Not, obviously you never see it that far ahead, but you can see the intensity he had being a special teams assistant. He was out there doing his drills with the DBs and all of a sudden, and you could tell a coach whenever you're in the drills, right? You can tell if somebody has a passion for somebody, there's something they just want to do. Obviously, he oozed football. Majority of the coaches we've been around, especially on that staff, football oozed out of them 24/7.
Those are pretty good staff.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
Pretty good
2004 staff. How many SEC head coaches do you have just from one staff? I mean, look, JV and I both spent some time in the DB room when we first got to LSU with Kirby and Nick.
Yeah, that was bad times. I don't even
I was about to say, did y'all enjoy that? That didn't sound like very much fun.
No, I'm looking up, and I'm in the slide, and here comes Dwayne Bowe and Buster Davis. I'm like, this is not going to work out the way y'all want it to. I can promise you right now.
And, Nick had a thing where he would actually grab our hips. Like, I was playing strong safety, and he was walking me down, and I never forget. He said, on the snap and occasion, you got to start walking down and put me down. Here comes toss balls. Here comes Kevin Stelz. Almost broke my back. I was like, Coach, look, I'll do everything we need to do with the team, but I can't play DB.
No.
I didn't sign up for this.
Me neither. Yeah.
At all. I didn't,
That about the time you looked over and said, Jimbo, he's a running back.
Yeah.
He's a running back.
Man. But, those things are you never really can tell, who's going to get what and kind of foresee the future. But you can tell a coach is a real coach between somebody who's posing to be a coach and doing something just for a check.
I don't forget if it was Wednesday or Thursday of this week was the one-year anniversary of Brian Kelly being hired. And so when you talk about a calendar year and what this man has accomplished in a calendar year, Justin, you had a bird's eye view. You're right there on campus. Just kind of give me your view of how he built this and got it to where it is in such a short period of time.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure how the kids are going to buy in, but, whatever Brian Kelly's selling, they bought in quick. To go from last year with 39 scholarship players and a backup wide receiver playing quarterback to, basically invading the transfer portal and getting all these kids to come to LSU and having a collective kind of re-recruit the kids who are on the team so they won't get in the portal, and then hiring some good coaches, bringing in Frank Wilson, somebody who's been there, knows the waters of Baton Rouge and knows the waters of the state, to kind of help him hone in on what it is to recruit in this state and kind of and what it is to kind of wrap your arms around these kids. He did above and beyond what I thought he could do. I'm be honest with you. Obviously, he's the winningest active coach in the country, but at the same time, this ain't Notre Dame, and I think he learned that in a hurry.
Yeah.
But I will say this: to me, he's more of a kind of a Bobby Bowden type of a coach. He doesn't have the headset on all the time. He'll flip the mic up. He's not really talking. I think he's listening, but he lets his coaches do their thing, right? He may say something at halftime or may say some things on the sideline, this and that and other, but you don't see him. He's not out there trying to call plays. He doesn't have a call sheet. He's not doing that. He trusted the guys he hired, and I think sometimes that does more for a team, especially the morale of the coaches and the players whenever you don't have the head man button in, and I think he does a great job of that.
Good to see you, sir. Enjoy your lunch. When you sign the check, it's GORDYRUSH. Make sure you spell it right.
You don't have to worry about that. I promise you.
Great to see you,
I appreciate it.
We'll take a break here at the Big Kahuna. We're in downtown Atlanta. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time. This is Hanny Time.
And we're brought to you by Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge. Acura and Infinity pre-owned. We've been buying our vehicles in my family for quite some time there. The pre-owned package is going to ensure that you get a comprehensive 167-point inspection. It means that your vehicle is going to be up to code. 6-year unlimited mileage warranty, complimentary first-year basic maintenance. Carfax is going to give you a vehicle history report and a 3-year buyback guarantee. You're going to get a free 3-month trial subscription to satellite radio. Emergency roadside assistance. Had to use this not terribly long ago. Not only is it invaluable when you absolutely need it, it's peace of mind the rest of the time that, hey, I can call for some help. Complimentary service courtesy vehicle means you don't have to arrange for transportation when your car is in for service. You don't have to wait around for it either. Acura and Infinity pre-owned with transparency in pricing and a family atmosphere. Acura and Infinity of Baton Rouge.
Professional golfers John Peterson and J.J. Colleen answer all your golf and life questions inside the new Drop Biscuit Studios podcast for the people. Download or subscribe today at dropbiscuit.com.
Ever wonder how Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal does such a great job installing metal roofs? It's simple. Premier South makes all their metal panels on site, so they fit perfect and without any visible screws. Many of our roofs are still in Grand Isle from before the storm. Don't get stuck with a contractor. They won't be here when you need them. Call somebody you trust. Go to PremierSouthLA.com for premier craftsmanship.
Premier South Roofing.
And premier customer service.
Premier South Roofing.
Premier South Roofing and Sheet Metal.
Premier South Roofing.
The number of children entering the court system due to abuse and neglect in East Baton Rouge Parish is on the rise. Court-appointed special advocates provide a voice for these children as they navigate a difficult situation and system that is unknown and often frightening for them. Become a CASA volunteer today and give a child the gift of your time this holiday season. Provide hope and consistency for a child. Show them hope for their future. Believe in them. Visit CASABR.org to volunteer today.
Nothing compliments the holidays like Lee Michaels' Little Red Box.
You sit on the tree or under the tree.
Earrings go in a small red box.
Watches come in a slightly larger box. Necklaces are in a long red box.
When they see red, they know it's something special.
Especially during the holidays. In that little red box.
Or a big red box.
It's like no other jewelry store out there.
It's the most wonderful time of year to visit Lee Michaels. Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, Corporate Boulevard and the Mall of Louisiana.
Michelle Southern along with Farron Fabry Bolton at Acura Baton Rouge. Farron, inventory's getting tight on pre-owned cars, I hear.
It is. It's getting harder to get these vehicles. And once we have them, we put them through 182-point inspection, and that's done by an Acura certified technician, so you know you're in the best hands. But once again, the time to come in is now. It's getting harder to get these vehicles, so take advantage of it while we have them.
Acura pre-owned certified cars, now on the lot at Acura Baton Rouge, Airline Highway south of Siegen, or online at AcuraVR.com.
O'Reilly. Don't risk getting stranded with a bad battery. Our professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts will test your battery for free. If your battery does need to be replaced, we'll help you find the best battery for your vehicle and your budget. Don't wait until your battery is dead. Get it tested for free today at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So we're going to tap into human emotion, first with some music. Then in a serious tone, I'll say, save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. And even though it was about saving money with Progressive, we'll fade out the music so you know it was poignant. Wow, powerful stuff. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
It's the semifinals in the Prep Football Playoffs, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic High and John Curtis kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Today's special edition of Football Friday live from Atlanta, presented by Hutco Roofing. Do business with somebody you know in Hutco Roofing. Listen on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, or watch us on YouTube, on the ESPN YouTube channel. Our coverage brought to you also by Rev Business, Internet Managed Services. It'll give your business a winning edge. Jay, we talked a lot about stuff. I want to talk about the LSU defense here a little bit. And one of the things that was common to Georgia's struggles in the Missouri game, Kentucky game, and the first half of the Georgia Tech game, and that is red zone defense, and something that LSU has actually been pretty good at this year. So I want to make sure I get my numbers right. Against Missouri, 4 times Georgia got inside. They got inside the 15, and Missouri held on the field goal all 4 of those trips. Georgia had 200 yards worth of offense more than Missouri did, because they weren't able to catch in. The score stayed reasonable, and Missouri was in that game all the way, pretty much to the end. And it repeated itself against Kentucky. In the first half, they got down to the 10. They got down to the 6. They got down to the 20. Settled for field goals all 3 times. Against Georgia Tech in the first half, got down to the 4. Got down to the 18. Settled for field goals both of those times. Kirby Smart is not beholden to analytics. He's not in any way. He's not reckless. He's more of an.
Are you Brandon Staley, like the Chargers head coach?
To be a former Chargers head coach, yeah.
You hope.
Exactly what. That's exactly what. Well, I need a draft choice.
That's
okay?
right.
I need a draft choice. If you can play good defense, they will settle for field goals, and it's kept 3 inferior opponents in the game with Georgia for a period of time.
Yeah.
So LSU 4th in the league in red zone defense for the season, but it's even better when you go to the touchdown number. LSU only allowing 42% touchdowns scored in the red zone, and it's second in the league. It's second to Georgia, but still. Tell me key to playing red zone defense against this team that's got these monsters at tight end that seem to just eat up the red zone.
Yeah, good question. That guy on the outside that could eat the red zone. I mean, McConkey being their best receiver obviously doesn't have this huge frame. And in the red zone with receivers, you're going to run fades, you're going to run, deep dig routes or whatever. Try to use your body, an advantage over the back by maybe using your shoulder to get open. They don't have that. And the receiver, or the tight ends they have that are very good receivers, Brian Flores, well, that's who you're going to pay attention. He's going to get coverage. And so that's they try to eliminate him from the game. And that's been the recipe, and Georgia is a team that to run the football, the intermediate to the tight end. So when you condense the field, when you can kind of really get rid of a lot of your stuff and just say, okay, we're hone in on this because we're in the red area. There's only so many routes you can run in the red area. And the defense coordinators know that. You don't have a guy who can make that Jordan Jefferson, Justin Jefferson, that Jamar Chase type of play. And it's difficult. It can be difficult for you.
Another thing that I've seen Georgia do time and time again, I don't have a specific number for it, but you know what I'm talking about, which is Stetson Bennett's ability to buy time. I've maintained all year better athlete than what he's given credit for, and he made a lot of plays. It's not that he's run for a ton of yards.
It's 7 touchdowns.
Well, yeah, okay. I guess what I mean is he's not maybe it's been more of him buying time and delivering the football down the field.
You're trying not to say sneaky athlete right now.
Yeah, a little bit. I thought I covered it when I said better athlete than he's given credit for.
Hey, look, if anybody knows that cliche, I can give it to you.
Yeah.
But he is an athlete.
Yes, and he's
not looking to run. He's looking to buy time.
Create
yes.
is a word I would use. He's not somebody you would think of putting a spy on, but you got to do something to make him uncomfortable. So what?
Actually, I don't hate a spy.
I don't either, but I was waiting for you to say it.
I really don't. I don't hate a spy. Now, is it, hey, we're playing against, Hornsby from Arkansas where we had a spy. We're playing against Bryce Young where we had a spy. Even Jackson Dart, there was a spy in that game as well. It might be Jackson Dart comparable because you used it about 30% of the time, and that's okay. Third and long situations, I'm going to have a spy. Now, first and second down, if Stetson Bennett gets 11 yards with his legs, I tip my cap to him because I can't use a body in that situation. But in 3rd and 11, I think you can because, one, they don't push the ball down the field a ton, and he's picked up a lot of first down on 3rd and 7 plus. I think actually, like, running the football, he's one of the tops in the league. And so that's when he makes his hay on 3rd down. So, no, I don't hate a spy in this one because he has the ability to pick up a first down with his legs.
So what are you going to do with Bowers?
That is the $1 million question. Is it Jay Ward? Is it? I think Fouché better suited for the other tight end, Washington. Is it Greg Brooks? Is it Bernard Converse, who's played kind of all over the place a little bit this year, and you don't have a receiver that can take over the game. I'm not hating on the receivers. They're not Brock Bowers. Do you use him in that role? That's going to be a key question. I don't use the linebacker. I can tell you that. Sage Ryan, look, Sage was in great position 2 times last week, but you know what he didn't do, Hanny? He didn't make the play.
Yeah.
And Sage has been there a numerous amount of times this year where it's been good coverage, but it's been a bad play.
They're exactly the type of tight ends that you want. They are fast enough that they're difficult to cover with linebackers. They're physical enough that they're difficult to cover with defensive backs. And that's exactly, that's the definition of dominant tight end, and they've got multiple. They've got more than one. I mean, Bowers is the headliner, but they've got more than one. We're at the Big Kahuna here in downtown Atlanta. We are on we're on Peachtree Center Avenue. I'm going to get it right. Peachtree Center Avenue. You just think, oh, it's on Peachtree. You need to do a little bit more than that. So we're behind the Hyatt. How's that? One block off of the Hyatt. We're behind the Hyatt on Peachtree Center Avenue. We'll take a break here. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN.
This is Hanny Time. This is Hanny Time.
Big weekend coming up at Big Mike's in Denham Springs tonight. The Honky Tonk Playboys are on stage tomorrow. The LSU game at 3 o'clock. They're the DJ for that. High Water at 7 o'clock and Chris LeBlanc at 9. There's no cover on either one of these nights. I'll also be celebrating the birthday of Miss Jocelyn. That is Mrs. Big Mike. She's, as they tell me, the brains of the operation. So her birthday is going to be her birthday party. Everybody's invited. It's going to be going on at Big Mike's this weekend. Holiday gift cards available right now. $30 in gift cards will get you $5 off your next visit. $50 will get you 10, and 100 will get you 20. Make your Christmas party reservations right now. Catering also available from Big Mike's. And happy hour drink specials are on all day on Sundays for the NFL, even with the Saints not playing until Monday Night Football. Happy hour drink specials on Sunday at Big Mike's. On Aspen and Denham Springs, Big Mike's were kind of a big deal.
Today's special edition of Football Friday live from Atlanta is presented by Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, and you can hear it on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Order the food you love for the game now or later with the ASAP app. Take the work out of your pregame prep so you never have to miss a minute of the action. Visit asap.com to have your meal delivered on your timeline. And when you use promo code Tigers22, you'll score free delivery and a chance to win LSU sideline passes, autographed merch, and more. ASAP.com, the official mobile ordering partner of LSU Athletics. Order now or later with code Tigers22 for free delivery and a chance to win LSU perks. ASAP, great local food.
Powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Jake, I want to ask you about the playoff here for a second. We'll duck away from this game here for just a couple minutes. 12-team playoff was approved earlier this week. The Rose Bowl decided that they didn't want to get left behind. So this
probably
thing
a good decision.
Yeah. This thing got put to bed. I'm just wondering how you would have thought as a player. As fans, we love this. Okay?
Right.
Or at least most people love this.
Should.
This is more quality football. This is going to keep more teams, more fan bases engaged.
Yeah.
It's going to keep more players from opting out. It's going to lengthen the season, which, it's a long season, but it's a short season, right? It's the shortest of the regular season and all that stuff. And I maintain that the regular season is going to be every bit as important as it's always been.
This is Hanny time.
If you need any kind of example, last week LSU was in the playoff. They lost their final regular season game. Now they would be out of the 12-team playoff. But I'm wondering,
and they'd be fighting tomorrow to get back into that playoff.
Yes, that's correct.
And they can't get in this current format.
But as a player, okay, you show up there at the beginning of August. You go through a grueling camp. You go through 12 football games, 8 of them in the Southeastern Conference. I mean, the wear and tear is pretty significant. Then if you're fortunate
Winter
enough,
can be magical. The Mercedes-Benz Winter Event is here, and there's no better time to check out our new Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge inventory. We have the vehicles that can make your holiday extraordinary. See all...
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and only 96 calories.
Hanny time. Hanny time. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Now, here's Charles Sandegriff.
And we're back here at the Big Kahuna, downtown Atlanta, right behind the Hyatt. Charles Sandegriff along with Jacob Hester. We're going to Hunt Palmer here in just a few minutes. Jake, we were talking about the playoff. And so what I was asking you is that, while fans are all for this, and this is more football and less opt-outs and all that, as a player, this is a long season. So how would you have felt back in 2007 if, after playing in the SEC championship game, they said, okay, you got a shot here at the national title. You got 3 more games to play. How would you have felt as a player?
Look, for me, I'd love it. Why not? I mean, absolutely. More football. If you ask any NFL player, I'd say 97% of them, hey, you got one more football game. You can dress one more time in a game. You can run out of the tunnel, and you can have 3 plays. You doing it in your pro uniform or your college uniform? College uniform would be the answer. More college football is never a bad thing. And, look, it's probably better for player safety if you're a junior or senior with NFL aspirations, because you go from playing this amount of games to playing a lot more games in the NFL with the preseason, with the 17 games, if you get into the postseason. And so it's not as big of a jump now. And 2006, LSU, there's a 12-team playoff. If there's a 4-team playoff and that team got in, they're national champs back-to-back years, in my opinion. 2006 LSU, by the end of the year, no one would want a part of that team. So, yeah, more football, more opportunities, more access to do it. And then when people are like, oh, there's going to be more blowouts, it'll even itself out. An assumed blowout might not be a blowout. And, like, we're getting them in the playoff. Okay, well, we don't know that we'd get that in the 5 through 12 games. You never know. Texas A&M beat LSU last week, right? South Carolina beat Clemson. I mean, we could roll off 17 games that were supposed to go one way, double-digit underdog, end up winning the game. So, for me, there is nothing that I'm against for this. The FCS has a 24-team playoff. They figured it out a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, for me, let's move forward. I'm excited about it. All college football fans should be excited about more football.
I'm also cautiously optimistic, maybe a little bit foolishly optimistic, you tell me, that the quality of football is going to be better than what it is in the playoff. And hear me out here. The teams in the college football playoff, Georgia's going to play tomorrow. They're not going to play another game for 4 weeks after this. And as much as you enjoy the recovery time and you get healthier as a team, man, the sharpness, I mean, Georgia's playing sharp football. You think Michigan wants to take a month off after tomorrow?
I wouldn't want to take a week off.
Right. So I'm thinking that there's a lot less. There's going to be a lot less time between the end of the regular season and the start of the playoffs. More like a bye week than this month where, man, you're almost trying to knock the rust off. Am I off base here?
Hanny, I've been a part of 2 different NFL teams, and the listeners have heard me say this before. We won 11 straight games in San Diego and in Denver. 11 straight, 13-3, both teams. We got a bye. We lost the first round that we played in the playoffs, the divisional round. And I think it's because we came off our heater. We were so hot. We were locked in, dialed in. I mean, nobody could beat us at that point. We take a week off. We go back home. The other team is doing what? They're preparing. They're playing a football game.
Yeah.
And then here we come. We hadn't played in a couple of weeks, and we get punched in the mouth early. We can't find a way to win the football game. The Jets were not as good as we were in San Diego. The Ravens, who won that Super Bowl, Hanny, we beat them by 21 in Week 14 at their place, and then we lose to them in double overtime in the divisional round. So for me, no. I mean, if I'm on a heater, I want to stay on that heater. I don't really want too many weeks off if I can help it.
If there was a team this year that is not going to make the playoff, anybody between 5 and 12 right now, you say, man, look, they're not going to get in the playoff, but if they did,
yeah,
they would be a real problem. Who would it be? And don't say Alabama. I'm sorry.
No.
But you can say Alabama.
No,
because
I got Tennessee ahead of Alabama. The fact that Alabama.
Wait a minute. Now Hendon Hooker's not in.
I don't care. Joe Milton's in there.
Okay.
And you're going to punish a whole team because one player got hurt?
No. You missed my question. Not what.
Joe Milton.
Not what they should
enough.
be. I'm saying that if they were actually playing.
Yeah, right. And I think Joe Milton's quality enough to give. If they're on your schedule, you still got to pay attention to it because they can score and they can score in bunches. I mean, Hanny, is it a Penn State who's number 8 right now?
They would be a hard.
Penn State's lost to some really good football teams.
I'll tell you who I was looking at, and they've got no chance to make the playoff. They're done for the season. But Washington was playing really good football. Michael Penix ended up leading the nation in passing. That's not a team I would be if the playoffs were based on these rankings. It would be Ohio State against Washington. And if I were Ohio State, there'd be about 4 or 5 other teams that I'd rather play than Washington right now than UW. Just because of the way they're playing. You brought up the 06 team. Absolutely. That Sugar Bowl against Notre Dame, I don't think many people would have wanted to play. But the team that always comes to my mind is the Carson Palmer USC team that lost 2 games early. And then they got rolling. And they played themselves all the way in the Orange Bowl and played a pretty good Iowa team that, the quarterback, Brad, I'll think of it in a second. They ended up playing for the Jets, played another position.
Brad Smith, Missouri?
Missouri, not No. It was Brad Smith from Missouri is the one that played for the Jets.
Yeah.
Banks, maybe. Anyway, pretty good Iowa team. USC went out there and destroyed them.
Yeah.
Just absolutely demolished them. Those are the teams that I think about. College football history could have been changed because if those teams get in, those teams get
2005 LSU. Like we didn't have a break.
You needed a week.
We needed a week.
You needed a week off.
So we got here playing Georgia, and you could tell we were on fumes.
Yeah.
We got our break, and then we came out and we broke Miami twice.
Right. Now in that special circumstances that year because of Katrina. But
that's a team.
But
by the end of that year, give us a week to catch our breath.
Right.
Getting a 12-team playoff, we'd have been in the teens. We probably would have got in. That's a team that can make a run.
Would you have wanted to play the Tim Tebow team that lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game? They were undefeated.
Yeah.
They lost a great Alabama team, but if that Florida team would have played Texas that year, well, that would have been a hell of a game, right?
Yeah.
Provided Colt McCoy doesn't get hurt, 3.
Yeah. I was at that game.
3 plays. I
was at that game.
3 plays. I
was at that game.
We'll take a break here at Big Kahuna. We are in downtown Atlanta across from the Hyatt. Anytime, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about the FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout, perfect for tonight's game. So easy to use. You can live bet during the game, and the best part, when you win, FanDuel pays your winnings fast. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today on the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues and non-withdrawable free bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Today's special edition of Football Friday live from Atlanta is presented by Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Watch us live on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel, and you can hear it on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Nearly half of children in foster care drop out of school. But you can rewrite that story. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money.
Musso, join us for Friday's AFR, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Matt is live from Big Kahuna in Atlanta, Georgia, previewing LSU and Georgia in the SEC Championship. Friday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
So we're back here at the Big Kahuna.
LSU fans are welcome here, just about a block off of the Hyatt on Peachtree Center Avenue. Hurricane specials, Tiger Kahuna Punch specials, full bar, and outdoor seating as well. With the weather's pretty good here. Ordinarily, it's kind of chilly when we come up here.
Yeah.
But a little bit warmer today. Sun came out. We're in pretty good shape. Now, ordinarily at this time, you would be entertained by the baritone voice of Mr. Hunt Palmer, but he's taking a day off to go play golf. Before he tees off, though, he did want to chime in on his own show. Hunt, how you doing?
I'm good. What percentage of the downtown Atlanta businesses are on Peachtree?
One Peachtree or the other? All of them. 100%.
I mean, whose decision was that? Let's just name everything Peachtree Street.
Yeah, learn. You have to learn your peach trees.
I mean, go presidents, go states, go something.
Northwest Peachtree is not the same as Peachtree Northwest. You got to learn this stuff if you're going to come to Atlanta. All right, Hunt. The general consensus here, and I mean, just among people we're talking to, and media, and fans, this is an uphill battle for LSU tomorrow. What path to victory do you see for the Tigers?
Well, I think, one, LSU's really good players are going to have to make some plays, and I think specifically at wide receiver. The ball's got to go up in the air. For some reason, Jaden Daniels put the ball up down the field in Gainesville. He let Brian Thomas go make a play. He got a free play on a false start and let Jeray Jenkins go make a play. I don't even think he throws that ball if it's not a false start and a free play. Even against Alabama, he put the ball up down the field. Malik Neighbors went and made a play. Mason Taylor went up and made a play in the end zone. You're not going to just run the ball on this Georgia team. They just don't let you do it, and LSU's not strong enough up front to make that happen. So the ball's going to have to go into the air. And the only statistical thing you can look at and really hope for LSU is that Georgia's offense, while it has been very effective and efficient this year, has had some troubles scoring touchdowns in the red zone. They're actually number one in red zone scoring, period, but they're a little further down in terms of scoring touchdowns. And LSU's been as good as anybody in the league in stopping teams when they get inside the red zone. So force a couple of field goals, let your playmakers go make plays. If LSU's going to win this game, it's going to be 24-20. It's not going to be 44-40. They've got to keep the scoring down, because LSU, I don't think, is going to be able to score enough on Georgia.
Georgia has faced 16 teams in the top 15 since 2018, and 14 of those games have gone under the total, at which the total is sitting here at 50.5 the last time I looked. So, yes, low scoring. I agree with you there. Hunt, we know that the number one reason that LSU lost to Texas A&M is because you made fun of the Aggies. But what was the second most important thing that happened in that game that caused LSU to lose?
They turned around and gave it to Von A-Chain 38 times for 225 yards. I mean, and that's one of the things that we talked about all week, that we thought it was such a good matchup because Tank Bigsby could not get going against LSU. After the first three drives, Quinshon Judkins couldn't find much space against LSU. Florida's two really good backs, Johnson and Etienne, couldn't get anything going against LSU. Florida State's running back didn't do much against LSU. And I thought that the LSU's front seven would do a great job with A-Chain, put him behind the chains, and make a freshman quarterback make plays through the air. And that was the exact opposite. Their first 5 third downs were 3rd and 1. They converted all of them because they were able to get the running game going. And look, Georgia has 3 backs. None of them average more than 60 yards a game, but none of them average less than 5 yards a carry. They're going to continue to feed those guys, and if you can't slow them down, Kirby is very content to trust his defense and run the football. He'll win 16-6 like he did against Kentucky. He doesn't care. Now, sometimes he's got to let the horses run and let Bennett go make some plays, and they got to score some points like they do against Bryce Young. But sometimes Kirby senses those things, and he'll take 4 yards a pop.
I want to know about the matchups, Hunt. What you think they're going to go there as far as who's going to cover Brock Bowers, who's going to cover Ladd McConkey, who's going to cover Washington, the just ginormous tight end that Georgia has, and has actually been a really good receiver for them this year, because I know they want to run the football. I agree with you. I think they try to slow this game down. They are A-okay winning 24-13 in an ugly game. They don't really care, but they are going to put the ball in the air at times. Who on this LSU team do you think has the ability to cover Brock Bowers?
Well, do any of those guys have a ladder handy? That's the only way they're going to be able to handle Washington. I mean, that guy is just – he makes Brock Bowers look really small in the huddle, which is amazing. But look, I think it's going to have to be a group effort. I thought Jay Ward's had a pretty good year. I think Major Burns has made some really good plays this year. Justin Vincent has thrown 6 picks this year. He will put the ball in harm's way at times if you will let him. So I try not to be the X's and O's guys because I know that that's not necessarily my forte, but those guys have been a matchup problem all year long, and I love the way they use McConkey. It's not just the traditional, go make plays down the field. They'll get him on jet sweeps and some tosses. They'll let him run the ball. They just kind of get him in space. He's a great athlete. It's a really balanced, efficient offense. I made this comparison on my show earlier this week. I said, look, those Tua Tagovailoa offenses that had all those wide receivers, they look like a drag racing unit when they just got up and they just gone. I mean, they could score in 30 seconds. Georgia's more like a tugboat. Like they just hit you and hit you and hit you and hit you, and eventually it's enough.
I would love to tell you that LSU has some sneaky advantage somewhere that we haven't been looking like special teams, except they don't.
Oh, no. I thought,
no, they don't. They're at a disadvantage here, too. The punters are pretty much a wash. They're both pretty good, up, middle to top middle of the league.
It hasn't been the people kicking the ball that have been an issue.
Right. But the guy that is kicking field goals for Georgia has missed twice the whole year, and they were both, one of them was 45 and the other one was past 50. So it's not like this guy has missed chip shot. I have scoured every piece of paper that I can looking for some advantage LSU has, and I can't find one. I'm hoping that maybe one of you two guys has, but I keep coming back to the thing. LSU's got to play over their skis a little bit to win this game.
Well, they do. I mean, there's no mistake about it. You have to. I mean, if we're trying to find advantages, there's a reason Georgia is the defending national champion, the #1 team in the country. And this isn't a star-studded Georgia team, and I mean that in the biggest compliment that I can give.
They gave 15 guys left to the draft last year.
If you got dropped in Lexington, Kentucky on campus, give me 8 Georgia players, they couldn't do it. Could not do it. A basic college football fan could not do it, but they play as a team. But you do have some, like on the outside, like what Hunt's talking about, when you've thrown the football down the field, that is an LSU advantage. I believe in this group of receivers.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, Tayshaun Boutte and Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas can play for anybody and with anybody in college football. So I don't know that it's an advantage for LSU. It's certainly not a disadvantage. So if you're Jaden Daniels, like, just give those guys some chances. You cannot sit back there, pass the football, and wait for somebody to come wide open. They're not. They just not. It's not going to happen. And then you're going to take off running, and Georgia's got a bunch of horses out there that will run you down in a way that Ole Miss probably can't. So the ball's got to go. It's got to go in the air.
All right, Hunt. Give me any picks you got in the other games. I'm looking to fade somebody. So who do you?
We'll call T-Bob for that.
Oh, we got to say congratulations. We forgot to say congratulations, T-Bob. They welcomed Bobby the Fourth.
Yeah, Quad Bob.
It's awesome.
Quad Bob.
Quad Bob, baby.
We got pictures here. So congratulations to T-Bob and the family on the new addition. But give me some thoughts on the other championship games here real quick.
I'm just about done, saying, oh, yeah, TCU will lose this week. Yeah, they'll lose this week. They don't lose. They win every week. So, I don't know how many pros they got on that team, but they continue to win. So I'm about done picking against them. I think they'll win and get in the playoff, and we'll see what they can do. And, look, I think last year everybody thought that Oregon was going to get some revenge on Utah, and then we realized, wait a second, Oregon can't stand up to Utah. Utah just bludgeoned them. Yeah. Well, that wasn't the case in round 1 against SC. That was not a deal where USC couldn't stand up to them. They got the shootout and lost by a play. I think the Trojans will be just fine.
All right, you got USC, you got TCU. You want to kiss up to Gordy and pick Purdue, or not so much?
I can't tell you. I've watched the Purdue play this decade, so I'll probably stay away from that one.
Wait a minute, not this decade? Come on, at least one.
I saw him play.
I don't think so.
Kyle Orton. I mean, we got to go back to Drew Brees. Last time you watched Purdue?
You might have to go back to a Greasy, I think, was maybe the last time I was.
Wait, you weren't alive when a Greasy was playing there. You were alive when a Greasy was playing for Michigan.
Yeah, you got
I
your
just
Greases.
pulled that one out of nowhere.
Yeah, you got your Greases mixed up. All right, go play golf, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
No golf for me. I'll be at Rouse's from 3 to 5. Y'all come see me.
Oh,
nice.
Okay, Rouse's and Rouse's is bringing us the thanks, hon, is bringing us the pregame show tomorrow. Even though we will be at the World Congress Center for fanfare. It's always it's a fun thing. It's loud. It's atmosphere.
It's cool. I went over there this morning to do a hit with the SEC morning show there on Sirius XM, and they were setting it up, Hanny. It's a lot of fun. I mean, so many different events, activities going on, so many stages, and they've got a deal. I'll be on a panel tomorrow, I think at 1 o'clock Eastern time. I'll be with Josh Booty. I think JV is going to pop over there. Got some, of course, 3 Georgia Bulldogs on the other side, and Chris Doring's the MC, so we're going to have a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, we had a chance to visit with some of those guys last night. Doring and Peter Burns was there last night. What's a general consensus? Give me an outsider's view, an outside of the Baton Rouge market view of what LSU's accomplished this year and the few, not necessarily this game. Okay, if LSU loses this game, it's okay. Bummer, but the thing's going the right direction. What's the outside view?
Well, everybody you talked to, at media days was kind of down on LSU. I will give Christopher Doring a lot of credit. He was high on LSU. He, in fact, he was making arguments for them potentially being the 3rd best team in the SEC this year because of the talent, because he believed in Brian Kelly that much, and so he's kind of been on high. He was the disappointed parent last week. I talked to him right after the game. He's like, I'm just so disappointed in LSU. Yeah. I mean, he didn't see that coming, but I mean, like a guy like CD knows that LSU has the talent. If they won any game, you can't be completely shocked. After everything's said and done, it's still LSU. But you talk to other people, and they give LSU no chance in this game. There's like, hey, there's no way. There's no opportunities. I can't see them making a single play. And so it's a little bit all over the place. I think there's people that do realize LSU has recruited at a high level. They do have Brian Kelly. They have coaches who have been in this situation before as far as playing in big-time games. They have players that have played in these situations. Although they were young players, they have played in this situation before, maybe not even at LSU. So depending on who you talk to, Hanny, obviously you might have a different story. But the ones that I trust, the people that I trust, like Chris Doring, like I'm kind of in that same belief. There's going to be things out there you can take advantage of. Georgia's great. They're not perfect, right? They're not 2019 LSU where it didn't matter. 2019 LSU, they could have played the 72 Dolphins, and by God, give me 2019 LSU. They're not that. They're a great team. They're a championship team, but there will be opportunities. You can't. I mean, Hanny, if you've got a one-on-one matchup like we saw against Tennessee, and all of a sudden here comes Kayshon Boutte over the middle of the field, and if you let it go, it's a 60-yard pass, and you clutch, clean pocket, leave the pocket, then you're going to lose.
Are they that much better than Alabama? And look, you're talking to somebody who would gladly downgrade Alabama, but
right.
I'm not.
Georgia defense better, Alabama's offense, because Bryce Young obviously makes that team different. Jahmyr
team.
Gibbs is a different running back.
If this were Georgia and Alabama playing tomorrow, Georgia a field goal or less favorite?
I'd say 3.
Yeah.
I give them the bump.
Alabama would be favored. That's their argument, actually, with this backdoor into the playoffs is that, well, if they played against this team, they'd be a favorite. And we use that metric, if you will, all the time.
Yeah.
But it is a prediction, okay? So that's why I don't like the committee using it. But as a means of, relative power, I think it's okay to sit there and go, LSU beat Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
They, it was a great effort. It was at home, all the emotions, the 2-point play, I get it. But LSU, if Taylor drops the ball or if Daniels gets the ball deflected or it's incomplete or whatever, and LSU loses the game by 1 point, they weren't there by a fluke.
Right.
They played Alabama straight up. Can they play Georgia straight up? On a neutral field. That's the thing.
Because also if Georgia tries to slow the game down, Hanny, like we're talking about, and I'm not saying playing conservative, but they try kind of like what A&M did, and LSU fixes the issues as far as being not gap sound last week against A&M. They fixed that, and all of a sudden Georgia's got to go to their next set of plays, their next game plan, and maybe it's, hey, LSU scored a touchdown. LSU scored 10 points or whatever, and now we're talking it's 13-10, and oh, damn, we're in a football game right now. Yeah. I mean, absolutely, because I just think the way that Georgia plays and wants to play this game, if LSU does the things that we're talking about, because we've seen it happen before, yeah, I mean, this is not David versus Goliath like a lot of people are making it, in my opinion.
We're here in Atlanta today, special edition of Football Friday, presented by Hudco Roofing. Do business with somebody you know. And listen on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge, or watch us on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Our coverage is also brought to you by Rev Business, Internet, and Managed Services that will give your business the winning edge. This is Hanny Time from Atlanta, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
LWCC is Louisiana Loyal, elevating and celebrating champions of Louisiana each and every month here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Is a new month, December, new champion of Louisiana. This month, it's Mimosa Handcrafted. Mimosa Handcrafted creates Louisiana local handcrafted jewelry designed to foster connection and generosity. Its founder, Madeline Ellis, actually a landscape architecture major by training, but she decided to pursue her lifelong dream of making jewelry, and that hobby of creating jewelry took off as a business with the encouragement of Madeline's husband, Dawson. Today, Mimosa Handcrafted donates 1% of every sale through its Goods for Good campaign, allowing customers to select from a list of charitable causes such as the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank or the Mental Health Association for Greater Baton Rouge. Mimosa Handcrafted is this month's champion of Louisiana, presented by LWCC. LWCC is Louisiana Loyal.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HudcoRoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, Hudco can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call Hudco Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
Service Master Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Master Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Master Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Light beer shouldn't taste like water. Miller Lite has more taste and...
Jimmy on 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with punch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
We are downtown Atlanta behind the Hyatt on Peachtree Center Avenue. The Big Kahuna with drink specials going on throughout the weekend. Hurricanes on special, Tiger Kahuna Punch on special, outdoor seating, a bunch of TVs are going to be open late tonight. You're going to come by and watch the USC-Utah game, championship day tomorrow with all of the games on TV. You get free validated parking and, of course, full variety, tacos, burgers, seafood, and a whole lot more here at the Big Kahuna. Todd McClure going to join us here in the next segment. He is being honored as one of the SEC legends. Every year for the SEC championship game, they bring one of the legends in from each school, and it's a really nice program that they do. The night before, they're all out at Fan Fest tomorrow. You can go and get autographs and take pictures and things like that. And Todd is LSU's rep this year. This is a star-studded group this year among the people. And this is, a lot of people say, is Jimmy making the trip? When Jimmy found out that the Mannings were both being honored as their respective Ole Miss and Tennessee reps, Jimmy decided not to come because Peyton Manning is here. Eli Manning is here. Johnny Manziel is here. He's Texas A&M's rep this year. And we had a chance to meet this morning. Thomas Davis is Georgia's rep. You remember, longtime Carolina Panther. And Todd is LSU's rep this year. So he's going to join us here in the next segment. The SEC championship game has evolved so much since the beginning of the concept. And I can remember how much against this game most of the college coaches were in the league at the time, thinking that this would rob the SEC of an opportunity to play for a national championship, given one more opportunity for a loss. And this is back in the days of the old Bowl Alliance. The game was held in Birmingham. The first game was held in rotten weather. But Roy Kramer's vision came to fruition, which was that this would become one of the biggest spectacles in all of college sports. 2 years after its inception, they moved it into the Georgia Dome and now into the Mercedes Dome. We've seen some of the very best players and very best teams that Southeastern Conference has ever had to offer come through this game. And for LSU fans, it's been mostly a extremely positive experience. LSU has only lost in this game in one of their trips here, and that was the 2005 game that Jacob Hester was referencing before he had to go, and he's got some serious XM responsibilities to take care of. Other than that, this has been an extremely positive experience for LSU and their fans. The very first one in 2001, the very first appearance for LSU came on the heels of that win against Auburn, and it'll be known for me as that was the Matt Mauck game. When Matt Mauck came in against a Tennessee team that was ready to go to the Rose Bowl and play for the national championship, the running ability of Matt Mauck really threw Tennessee for a loop. The Tigers were able to get the upset and the first SEC championship in 15 years and the first SEC championship for Nick Saban. 2 years later, it was our other guest here today, Justin Vincent. That's what I'll remember from the 2003 game, was that LSU had beaten Georgia earlier in the year. But most people thought that, I say most people, some people thought that it would be very difficult to beat them twice in the same season. LSU not only beat Georgia the second time, they beat them worse than they had beaten them in Tiger Stadium. Vincent was phenomenal in that game, and the other play I'll remember in that game is the Lionel Turner interception that was returned for a touchdown off of David Green. The 2007 game, that'll be known as the Ryan Perilou and Jonathan Zenon game against Tennessee. Perilou, in relief of an injured Matt Mauck, played the whole game and was the MVP. The throw he made to Demetrius Byrd was one of the prettiest throws that you'll ever want to see. It was a low-scoring game. LSU won it by a touchdown, and the interception by Zenon that was returned for a score ended up being the difference in that game. And, of course, LSU had everything fall right for them. That's what I remember about the game. What I'll remember much more about that day, of course, is what happened before and after the game. Before the game, Les Miles rumored to be going to Michigan, a hastily called press conference. Have a great day. That was one that I'll never forget. Sitting in the post game after that game, getting scores coming in on our phone saying, hey, listen, Pittsburgh is beating West Virginia right now. Pat White is out of the game. LSU having the door opened for them a little bit earlier in the day, and watching all of that fall right into place as LSU got the chance to play for the national championship and won it. The 2011 team that had come in here and had smoked everybody on their schedule that year, save for Alabama, who they won in a one-score game, came here to play Georgia, did not make a first down on offense in the first half, and still nobody was worried. And why? Because Tyrann Mathieu was on that team, and Mathieu, of course, was the difference that day. Some of the plays that he made will go down, as some of the best in LSU championship history. That to me was the pinnacle for the Honey Badger. That was his day. You talk about a defensive player, a special teams player being able to carry the day. Mathieu did it that day, because LSU's offense had a hard time getting untracked, especially in the first half. When you can't make a first down the entire first half and you still win the game by 32, well, something went right for you. And, of course, the 2019 game that a lot of people have come up to me and said this just here since we got up this morning and came down here to set up for the show, which was LSU this year is playing the opposite role of what they were playing in 2019, and Georgia is playing the LSU role. LSU was a big favorite, came in with all kind of confidence because, quite frankly, by that time, nobody in the LSU nation believed that anybody could beat Joe Burrow, and they didn't. And Burrow was phenomenal, and that team blew Georgia out. It was a good Georgia team. This year, it's Georgia that is wearing that favorites mantle, that, hey, they're the defending national champions. They're undefeated. They don't think that anybody can beat them, and certainly don't think anybody can beat them an hour from their campus. We'll see if LSU in 2022 fares better than Georgia did in 2019. That's kind of my. I wanted to do a little history on the game, a little walk back, and kind of a little nostalgia here for a minute as we analyze this game. I'd like to be able to tell you more positive things. It's just on paper, it's really tough for LSU to win. I thought I'd give you a little bit of a break, give you a chance to reminisce about some of those games. Did you go to some of them? Did you go to one of them? Did you go to all of them? For some people, this is their first trip to the SEC championship game here in Atlanta. We're brought to you by Supreme Rice and SupremeRice.com. Here during the holidays, make it with Supreme Rice. We had some great rice. Rice dress is a staple for us when we get to Thanksgiving. So to have Supreme Rice available to us just made things so much easier, because when you are planning for a big group, whether it's tailgating or holidays or whatever, you want to stretch that food dollar, and Supreme Rice is going to allow you to do that. Make sure that you support our Louisiana farmers down in Crowley, Louisiana. Since the 1930s, Supreme Rice has been grown, milled, and processed in Southwest Louisiana the entire time. It's easy to get. All of your AG food stores, all of your Walmarts, all of your Rouses, and your Winn-Dixies. And, of course, you can get it in the brown, the long grain, the medium grain, or the jasmine. Make it Supreme Rice. For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com. Take a break here at the Big Kahuna, downtown Atlanta. This is Hanny Time 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford. Check out the inventory, BayouFord.com. Website is so functional, so easy to use. That's how we shop nowadays. It is how we shop for cars nowadays as well. The inventory is all there. They've got a search feature right there. Go to your year, new, used, make, model. If it comes up, they've got it. That's awesome. Great start. If they don't have what you want, that's okay. They can customize a vehicle for you. Call Ben Gagne and the crew, and they'll customize a vehicle for you, have it turned around in 60 to 90 days. And when they get that vehicle in, it comes with a million mile powertrain warranty. Million-mile powertrain warranty on all new purchases over at Bayou Ford. 2, one of their 6 full-time drivers going to get in that car, drive it right to you. Got a great buyback program as well. If you want to sell the car that you're in back to the dealership, get you a head start on the new car that you want to drive, they would love to help you with that. Call Ben Gagne and the crew down there at Bayou Ford. The website's BayouFord.com. Bayou Ford, where they're going to do right by you.
Today's special edition of Football Friday live from Atlanta is presented by Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, and you can hear it on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal. Always.
A third of youth who grow up in foster care are homeless 18 months after aging out of care. But you can rewrite that story. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
Bayou Ford has the new inventory to get you in a new Ford truck or
semifinals in the Prep Football Playoffs, and we get started Friday night at 6 with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Catholic High and John Curtis kick off at 7, and that's immediately followed by the Lake Urgent Care Total Occupational Medicine Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, Your View, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
headquarters here. Bunch of LSU fans have piled in here at the Big Kahuna. Invite you if you're coming by tomorrow, still heading to Atlanta. We'll be here for postgame tomorrow night. Todd McClure knows a little bit about doing postgame with me. We spent a few lights there, my friend. How are you?
Some late nights, man. Doing good. Doing really well, man. Todd got the opportunity to come on with you.
Well, we're delighted to have you. Todd McClure, former LSU Tigers, being honored as one of the SEC legends. Let me clear a couple things up here, first of all. You were here about a month ago, a little over a month ago, to be inducted into the Falcons Ring of Honor.
Correct.
Okay? And so now you come back here to be honored as necessary. You're not running for mayor of Atlanta, are you?
No, I might need to. Might need to get a place, another place here. It's been a great year, some accomplishments, and been blessed for sure. And I'm just glad that, when I'm being honored for the SEC, that the Tigers are also here. It didn't look that way at the beginning of the season.
This
but
is stomping grounds for you, right?
That's right. It definitely is.
Yeah. So, star-studded group, man. The Mannings, Manziel, some guys that you knew. You were talking with Thomas Davis earlier today. So, kind of cool, bring a bunch of former players together. And I imagine there's some story swapping going on at the dinner last night.
No, absolutely. We had a lunch today, and we got another one tonight. And Thomas Davis is doing some trash talking, the Georgia. Oh, yeah. Well, he's talking about this game, So, and I hope they go in and they're all riding that high horse. And, I think we're going to have to play a good game, Charlie. We're going to have to go create some turnovers and play some mistake-free football. But I think the Tigers have the talent and can get it done.
You've watched teams build your whole life. When you watch this team build from what they were in the Florida State game to, listen, I know it didn't finish the way they wanted it to in the Texas A&M game, but how much better a football team this was, when you attribute that to Brian Kelly and what his staff has done, just kind of give me your view of how all that came together.
No, absolutely. You were watching it after the Florida State game, of course. I'm sure y'all were blowing up, everything. Everybody
it wasn't real
him
pleasant,
out.
no.
It wasn't the right guy. And I think anytime there's change, you go from Coach O, who I love Coach O, to from what you hear, things got a little loose. And Brian Kelly comes in with a new set of rules. It's not always easy. Change isn't easy. And I think you have to have some success for those things, that change, to be a little more smooth. And once Coach Kelly started having success, the guys bought in, And I think the biggest thing with this team is watching them from that Florida State game. They have progressed every week. They've gotten better every week. I think up until last week was when you saw it was the first big letdown, because every week they've gotten better. Daniels has progressed and gotten better, more confidence every week. And what I really like is that young offensive line. Those two tackles getting some valuable reps. Those guys next year, their junior year or senior year, they're going to be pretty good up front. And I think they'll continue to put the pieces around them.
Todd, what gets a player to buy into a new coach? Now, you didn't have to deal with that at LSU. You had the same coach all the way through. But you dealt with multiple coaching changes when you were with Atlanta. What gets a player to buy into the new guy?
I think you got to have relationships. If you don't have relationships, then it turns into a dictatorship. So that's something that had to be built. Coach Kelly comes in. We dealt with it with Bobby Petrino, and that one never worked out. He came in. He wouldn't even talk to us. Me and you have talked about this on air. Wouldn't talk to us passing in the hall. Was a complete jackass. And we didn't have success. If he would have came in and we had started winning, it would have been a little easier to stomach. But I think we won 4 games that year. And it was just miserable. But now with Coach Kelly having that success and it happening quick, those guys are able to buy in, and you see it. You see it on game day. That's a team. They've built and turned into a team that feeds off of each other, offense, defense, and the special teams.
Give me an example, because I'm watching a former coach of yours, Jim Moore Jr., who had a fantastic turnaround at UConn, who was really, really down. He got the job early and turned them into a bowl team in 1 year. Give me an example of something that he did, because he's obviously got that. He's got that touch to be able to do that.
No, and when Jim came in, he's a guy that creates relationships with players. And I think the thing that got him in Atlanta was he got too close with some players, hanging out with some of those guys. But he's a guy that he could sit right here between me and you, and you'd feel like he was one of our best friends. He can talk. And he doesn't seem like he puts himself on a pedestal. He can come sit in the locker room and communicate with guys. And I saw a video of their locker room and his players at UConn, I think it was 2 weeks ago, and they bought in. They love Jim Mora. But, again, winning allows all that to happen.
The trust factor.
Right.
When a coach comes in, none of these guys knew Brian Kelly, or maybe very few of them. They weren't recruited in the same circles and all that stuff. How do you trust the guy? I mean, obviously it worked, and he built that trust, but that's not the easiest thing to do.
No, it's not at all. And to come into a locker room like that, like you said, none of those guys were recruited by him. But he has to come in and set the guidelines. He has to set his rules, and it takes time. It takes time to build those relationships. And I think the Tigers were fortunate they got the ball rolling, and he was able to build off of those relationships and be hard on some guys where if they weren't winning, it would have been tougher to be hard on some of those guys that he needed to be tough on.
Playing offensive line as a true freshman is a very difficult thing. You know about that.
Right.
Okay, so tell me what the biggest adjustments were for – I know it's a different position, but it's still offensive line. For Will Campbell and Emory Jones, what did they learn this year? What was probably the biggest shock to them, and kind of draw on what your experiences were playing as a true freshman at LSU?
Yeah, and I can't imagine for those guys, at center I had guys on each side of me that kind of helped me. I had Mark King, and then I had Adam Perry and Ryan Thomas, guys that have played for a while. Those guys are out on the island. They play on the offensive line, one of the toughest spots in the SEC. You got these great pass rushers, and there's no downs off. I think the speed of the game, they seem like they're guys, and you watch them, they don't have many missed assignments. It's the physical speed of the game and just learning their pass sets. And I've been pleasantly surprised with two true freshmen, the success they've had. Because, you hadn't talked – when you don't talk about an offensive line,
yeah,
that means they're doing pretty good. And they've had their games where they've got the running game going, and they've protected Daniels. And Daniels being elusive also helps young offensive linemen.
Catch everybody up with what you're doing now, since you're not going to be mayor of Atlanta, and you're not going to be a high school head football coach either, I think, despite some rumors out there. So what's going on with you now?
Yeah, just still doing the same stuff, 6M Antique Woods. Still got the wood company, hardwood flooring, beams, custom furniture, and then raising my bucking bulls, So genetics, like racehorses, I enjoy the breeding side of it and then being able to compete with them. And then I helped out with the 9th grade offensive line coach at Zachary, and I also do the radio show for Zachary football, which I'm missing it tonight there in Ruston.
I give you a pass. Huge game.
Yeah, that's a big game to get to the Dome. So
huge game. What's Manziel like?
We just had that lunch. I haven't met him yet. So the guys that I were looking forward to meet weren't there. Eli or Peyton weren't there. They'll be there tonight. But, I told you off the air, my son was like, Dad, going in with Eli, going in with Peyton. He's like, Dad, can you get a picture with Johnny Manziel? I was like, I'm going to get one with Peyton for myself, and I'll try to get you one.
Todd, we always appreciate it, man. Congratulations.
Right.
Thanks a lot. We'll take a break. Be back on the other side. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Time doesn't stop, and the world keeps spinning. Community, culture, and communications, the powerful circle that connects us together. We're creating the next evolution, a network built for every possibility, moving faster than ever before, streaming us forward into the future. And the revolution is closer than you think. RTC, ETEL, and Vision are now Rev. New name, same company.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
There's nothing better than tailgating, but it can be a lot of work. So why do it yourself when you don't have to? Let Revelry Sports and Entertainment set up your luxury tailgate on campus. Order what you want and just show up to party. Book your tailgate today at revelryteam.com. Revelry Sports.
16 match for the United States against Netherlands. Pulisic suffered a pelvic contusion when he scored the first half goal against Iran on Tuesday, the only goal of the game. It allowed the United States to move out of the group stage. The U.S. going to get full strength. They try to move past the round of 16 for the first time since 2002. 10 a.m. Eastern Time, United States and Netherlands from Qatar in the knockout round. Today, the final day of the group stage, earlier in Group H, Portugal and South Korea each advance. That means Uruguay does not. That's Mexico, Uruguay, Germany, and Belgium all don't make it out of the group stage. Right now, it's Group G, Brazil and Cameroon, Switzerland and Serbia. Your scores, Brazil and Cameroon are scoreless. Serbia and Switzerland are 2-2. If these results hold, Switzerland and Brazil will move on. Brazil's already locked up a spot. Championship weekend begins tonight. College football, the Pac-12 championship game in Las Vegas. 4th-ranked USC, 11th-ranked Utah, which handed the Trojans. They only lost 7 Eastern, ESPN Radio.
How would you love a chance to save some money on car insurance? Geico can help. Switch today and see all the ways you could save with great rates and discounts. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com to get a rate quote and get started seeing how much you could save.
Hanny time. Hanny time. A daily look at sports from our resident historian. Your sports break during your lunch break. Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, here's Charles Hannegriff.
And our coverage continues here from the SEC Championship Game 2022 on Peachtree Center Avenue behind the Hyatt. This is the Big Kahuna. We'll be here until 6 o'clock tonight. Matt Moscone will be taking you from 3 until 6. Joining us now from Dog Nation for the AJC, Mike Griffith covering the Georgia Bulldogs. Mike, good afternoon. Thanks for spending a few minutes with us.
Yeah, guys, thanks.
All right, we've spent the last 2 hours talking about how invincible the Georgia Bulldogs are, so I need to balance this out just a little bit to give LSU fans some hope. The last 2 weeks, Georgia has looked a little less than invincible. So tell me about maybe some of the red zone struggles that Georgia has had against Kentucky and at least in the first half against Georgia Tech.
Well, I mean, we could go back to Missouri when they were down 10 in the fourth quarter. I mean, this team's not been as you said, invincible as they were a year ago when they had 5 first-round draft picks and 15 guys drafted into the NFL. They've still been competitive in all their games and certainly managed to find ways to win. But, this isn't a team that necessarily overwhelms you as much as they just wear you down and lean on you. And when they've gotten in trouble is when teams have been able to score early. I mean, Georgia Tech was up 7-0 after the first quarter. And if their tight end doesn't drop a pass, Georgia Tech could have been up 14-0 on Georgia in the middle of the second quarter. So that was Georgia's most recent outing. Not a lot of weapons on the perimeter. I mean, you've got Ladd and McConkey, but there's not a George Pickens in this group. We don't know the status of A.D. Mitchell. He's their most elite receiver, and he's been out most all year with a high ankle sprain. If he comes back, this would really be his first game back in earnest. So, if LSU can find a way to keep Stetson contained in the pocket and hold up against the run game between the tackles, and I think you'll see, LSU be aggressive, and they're probably going to try to make Stetson bend and beat him over the top. And that's kind of been a good strategy for some teams.
For Georgia, they have played their best in the biggest games, whether it be Oregon or Tennessee or Florida, which is a huge rivalry, obviously. When they are focused in, they are at their best. So what is, for Georgia, the primary concern with defending LSU and attacking LSU on the other side?
Well, I mean, Georgia needs to run the ball to be successful. I mean, Mike Leach told you that. I mean, that's a close game at halftime. If you go back and look at that, State was able to run a punt back right before halftime, and they're in the ball game. Kentucky, a close game. Just that Georgia, as I said, they have to be able to run the ball. So I mean, if LSU, it's really as simple as Tebow said it today in his meeting with the media. I mean, LSU's got to get physical. They got to man up and they got to be tough against the run, and that's not something that you normally worry about at LSU. But, Brian Kelly's done a miraculous job of taking the personnel that was left and bringing in 15 transfers and making the most out of, making the best gumbo he can out of the ingredients he was dealt. I think he might be a little light there on, on some of the ingredients, on some of the beef maybe in the middle. And as far as offensively, I just think Jaden Daniels has to be healthy. I don't know how healthy he is, guys. Brian Kelly told us he was good to go, but I watched him sprain his ankle with 6:21 left. Came back in the game, but, there's a big difference between him being healthy enough to play and still having that enough elite speed to be a difference maker. And to me, that's an X factor, is if Jaden Daniels is able to be a difference maker.
Yeah, that's a real concern on this side for sure. And, frankly, I don't know that anybody can tell you with great degree of certainty exactly how Jaden Daniels is going to feel tomorrow, including Jaden Daniels. So that'll be a wait and see. This game has been, for all the success Georgia has had, this game has been a little bit of a trouble spot for them. And some of the Georgia players talked about that during the week, how hungry they are for a win in the Southeastern Conference Championship game. I mean, Mike, for a team that won the national championship, you don't have many wants outside of a season like that. But give me a little bit of an idea about what this game means to this team, knowing that whether they win or lose, they're going to be in the college football playoff.
Well, I mean, you said it. They haven't won an SEC championship since 2017. You go back to 2018, and they kind of had Bama and Tua beat. And then their outside linebacker goes down with an injury, and a backup comes in that, can't play contain, and Jalen Hurts comes off the bench, and Bama's able to come from behind and come from 2 touchdowns down and beat Georgia in 2018. That was one of Kirby's best teams. I think the 2018 Georgia team is better than this one. And then 2019, Pickens gets into a fight against Georgia Tech, and he's suspended for the first half against LSU. DeAndre Swift injures his shoulder in the last game of the regular season, so he's injured against LSU. And, And that LSU team in 2019, to me, I tell people this all the time. That's the best football team I've seen. Just a complete package, and the way Joe Burrow was playing, and and Dave Aranda, and the defense was much better than maybe the statistics indicated. I thought Kirby Smart said it himself. He told me personally he'd never seen an offense like that before, and he still refers back to that 2019 LSU team. I think if you ask Kirby, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I've covered him 5 years, and everything I've ever heard him say indicates that's the best offense he's ever seen. So that was a tough matchup for Georgia. I don't know who would have beat LSU. I don't know that there's any SEC team that would have beat 2019 LSU. So you talk about the 2018 game that slipped away. You talk about the 2019 game playing against a team of a millennium, I guess you'd say, this team, or the team of the new century. And then last year, Bryce Young was Bryce Young and did Heisman Trophy things and was amazing. And Jameson Williams was healthy and he was a game breaker, and Stetson Bennett was forced to throw the ball, and that's not his game. So I guess that kind of brings us back full circle. Can LSU put enough pressure on Georgia to put the game on Stetson Bennett's shoulders? And if you do that, I think you got a chance to win.
Talk to me about some of the unique concepts that Georgia's running with Brock Bowers and/or Darnell Washington, because this combination seems like it's the biggest nightmare matchup for any team that would play against them. Just kind of give us an idea of some of the schematics that they put into making these matchups such a nightmare.
Well, we say that, but last week, Georgia Tech outgained them about 170 to 130 in the first half. And Brock Bowers finished with 5 catches for 20 yards, and I think Darnell had 1 for 11. So I don't know that there's anything magical about it. My thought is if Georgia Tech can scheme up Georgia, then why not LSU? And then I know that LSU, that I wouldn't say the cupboard's bare. I know that this isn't, an ideal situation for Coach Kelly in his first year. They're only going to get better. The scary thing that would just scare the hell out of everybody is this is going to be the least amount of talent Brian Kelly's got to work with. He's only going to get more talent. He's only going to get better. He was probably the best hire of the offseason, and I thought that then. I always kind of got a chuckle out of it when I'd go on SEC Network shows and they'd say, who did you think made the better hire, Florida or LSU? And I'd say, well, we're comparing Notre Dame's all-time winningest coach to a guy that was getting coffee for Nick Saban 7 years ago and coaching Lafayette. I didn't think it was much of a comparison, frankly. I still don't, and I think the results bear that out. So I don't think this is going to be a matter of scheme, guys. I think this is going to be a matter of execution and players manning up, and which LSU team's going to show up. They've looked incredible at times, and then other times not so impressive. And it's hard for a coach in his first year to make his imprint and get that character. But listening to the guys talk, and I wrote a story about it this week. Just listening to the LSU players talk about Brian and his methodology, you just can't help but be impressed.
Mike, we appreciate your time so much. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. Thanks for spending some time with us this afternoon, and enjoy the game. We'll catch up with you soon.
I look forward to it, guys. Thank you.
Mike Griffith from Dog Nation and the AJC. We'll take a break. Richard Dixon, former LSU Tiger, is with us when we come back. He's our regular co-host with us on Friday, but having to stay back because he's about to be a dad again here any minute. So he's going to make a few minutes for us when we come back here. This is Hanny Time. We are at the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
One of the things I love about betting on the NFL is that I'm always finding new players or game props that I like. And what's cool about the FanDuel Sportsbook, you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout, perfect for tonight's game. So easy to use. You can live bet during the game, and the best part, when you win, FanDuel pays your winnings fast. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today on the FanDuel Sportsbook. If you're new to FanDuel, sign up today with the promo code 1045ESPN for your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's promo code 1045ESPN. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the National Football League. Must be 21 and present in Louisiana. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues and non-withdrawable free bet that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-877-770-STOP.
Today's special edition of Football Friday live from Atlanta is presented by Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, and you can hear it on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
We get it done with passion for our fans
and love for our community. We are
the Tigers.
Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
A third of youth who grow up in foster care are homeless 18 months after aging out of care. But you can rewrite that story. Children and youth with CASA and GAL volunteers are more likely to find safe, permanent homes. Change a child's story. Become a volunteer today.
Want more customers? Running Boards Marketing can help you get their attention. Imagine your brand's message on a giant LED billboard truck that can't be skipped and is nearly impossible to ignore. Running Boards Marketing is the leader in effective and affordable advertising on digital mobile billboards, which are 2 times more effective than traditional billboards. With a 97% recall rate, you'll leave a lasting impression with your customers. Visit us online at runningboardsmarketing.com so we can drive your message to where the people are.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana loyal.
Week 13 in the NFL. Our coverage starts Sunday at 10 a.m. with Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday with Jimmy Ott, immediately followed by the Philadelphia Eagles and the Tennessee Titans at noon, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And today's special edition of Football Friday, live from Atlanta, presented by Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing, do business with somebody you know. Listen on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Watch us on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Our coverage is also brought to you by Rev Business, internet and managed services that will give your business the winning edge. Our normal co-host on Fridays, Richard Dixon, he had a good excuse for staying back in Baton Rouge. He could be a dad any minute now. So we gave him a pass on making this trip. Rich, we were looking at some of the pictures from the last time we were all in Atlanta. That was a pretty good trip. So we'll try to do our best for you while you hanging back and taking care of Alex. So just, hey, hang in there, and thanks for spending a few minutes while you wait this afternoon.
Oh, man, I'm jealous. I'm talking to a lot of people in Atlanta right now. I mean, that's such a fun experience, such a fun weekend. I know y'all having a great time. I'm there in spirit. Trust me.
I know it. You and T-Bob, you come up with the best excuses not to make the trip. You're having kids. Okay, I got it. No problem.
Yeah.
Okay, you by your own admission have had every injury that a football player can have. So I'm going to ask you about the one to Jaden Daniels. You saw the play. You saw when he came back in how limited he was. You didn't see practice this week, but give me an idea of what you think he's fighting and how much he will be able to tolerate going into tomorrow's game.
Man, that's the toughest one, Charlie. We talked about a lot of injuries. I mean, an ankle sprain is so individually specific. Everybody deals with it differently. I mean, a bad ankle sprain feels like you broke your ankle. It's hard to move around. I can't tell you how he's feeling, but I will tell you that if he's feeling good enough to go out there and play, then he's expecting to play at 90+%. So, the coaching staff, the medical staff all feels he's good. He's good until he tweaks it again. So let's just pray it holds up and, nothing happens.
When you played with something like this, how much can you medicate it to, I want to say mask the pain, you know what I'm talking about here. How much does that work on an injury like this?
No, it works. I mean, you're going to feel good until you do something wrong. I mean, every time you take a shot or you get some medicine, whatever, the pain is alleviated until you tweak it again or you get hit on it again. And so as long as he can stay clean, keep his feet clean, he won't feel it. But I mean, there's a high percentage. There's a percentage that he could get hit on it. So it's just a waiting game.
All right, so before he gets hit, we know when he's at his best, it's a weapon, him in the running game. You got to think that he'll be at least a little bit limited, compromised, hesitant, whatever we want to call it. So does this heighten even more the need for him to just turn it loose and throw the ball down the field?
I mean, I hope he gets an opportunity to do that, but we all know we win games with Jaden's legs. I mean, Jaden's legs have won us all of our big games. He's done a lot of things with it. And in my opinion, he came back into that game because they felt good about it and he could get through it limitedly. He's had a week of rehab. He took some pressure off it wearing a boot. They're going to make sure he's good. And they're putting him in the game to expect, 100% of what Jaden Daniels can do.
All right, you've seen Georgia enough times. They may not be quite as good as they were a year ago, but they're still plenty good. So when you look at Stetson Bennett and how LSU may do things to, I'm going to call him, make him uncomfortable, starting with getting Harold Perkins closer to the line of scrimmage, how might LSU, in your opinion, attack this Georgia offense?
I think they're going to attack it very similar to what they did with Alabama. I mean, Stetson Bennett is a great quarterback. He's not, a Bryce Young, but he can make plays with his legs. I think he's got 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. He's been able to extend plays. I'm going to watch. I expect to see a very similar defensive game plan as what they did versus Alabama.
All right, so with Alabama, they parked a lot of plays. They parked Perkins right in the middle of the field, and he shadowed Stetson Bennett. Bryce Young. In the last couple of games, teams have schemed to get Perkins on the outside of the hash and in coverage more. So if you're Matt House, how do you make sure that Perkins isn't taken out of his comfort level?
You got to put him in a situation to where he's in the middle of the defense. At best, his responsibility is a back or a tight end. But you're going to put him in a spot to where he's in the middle of the field. He's going to be almost like a lineman with a quarterback responsibility.
All right, you played in this game before. Give me an idea of what's going through their head right now. For LSU, they're coming off of a disappointing loss, but you know a little bit about that. In 2007, you guys were coming off a disappointing loss, but you rallied and you came back and played a strong game in the SEC championship game and won it. So what's going through their heads right now coming off of that gut punch a week ago?
This is our national championship. We've said it for the longest time. We've said it for 20 years. The SEC is the best conference in the nation. The best 2 teams are typically in the SEC. We feel like the SEC championship should be considered a national championship, and we're going out to play for our national championship tomorrow.
I want to ask you about the Georgia tight ends. This is your position. This is your wheelhouse. So players like Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington, their unique talents, just kind of give me an idea of when you watch them play, what you're thinking.
I mean, Bowers is just a freak of nature. I think he's a running back, he's a tight end, he's a wide receiver. He can do it all. He's one of those guys that's got a very just crazy skill set. I hate to mention him to a guy but he's like an Aaron Hernandez. He moves around a lot. He's very fast, athletic, can run. And then you go to Darnell Washington. He's a Tony Scheffler. I mean, he's a Brandon Pettigrew. He's a big body that can catch. And when you got guys like that can body up and move, they're tough to deal with. You got to get somebody that can stay physical with them all day long. You got to have a guy that can get in their grill, give them a hard press, and make it uncomfortable and hard for them to get off the line.
Rich, I know you're busy. We appreciate you taking a few minutes this afternoon, and we'll be back. We'll be back next week. It'll be into the postseason part of all of this. But good luck, my friend, over the weekend, and we'll talk to you when we get back.
Sounds good, man. Y'all drink one for me.
Yeah, probably going to happen. Hey, you know what? The big thanks a lot, Rich. The Big Kahuna's got drink specials here. The Hurricane. They knew the Louisiana people were coming, so they're calling it first of all, the Hurricanes are on special, and the Tiger Kahuna juice am I getting that right? Tiger Kahuna Punch. Excuse me, Tiger Kahuna Punch. I would imagine it's got a few of the clear liquors in it. Just a guess. But burgers, tacos, seafood, a whole lot more. All the TVs, watch all the games here. They're open late tonight and tomorrow night, just a block off of the Hyatt in downtown Atlanta, not terribly far from the Mercedes-Benz Dome. Former LSU quarterback Josh Booty with us when we come back here. This is Hanny Time from Atlanta, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
My dad just really enjoyed his life, and he enjoyed smoking cigars and thought he was invincible. My stepdad quit smoking, and he really felt like he was in the clear. Sorry. I wish they would have been screened annually. It's not just you affect, it's your entire family.
For more information on Ochsner's free smoking cessation program and to see if you qualify for early lung screenings, visit ochsner.org/quit.
Miller Lite has more taste and only one more calorie than Michelob Ultra.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
This summer, meet Acura's heroes of performance. Only available at the Acura Summer of Performance. This summer, visit your local Acura dealer for attractive offers on the MDX.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big V and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7 The Tiger.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning.
Musso, join us for Friday's AFR presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Matt is live from Big Kahuna in Atlanta, Georgia, previewing LSU and Georgia in the SEC Championship. Friday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Filling up here at the Big Kahuna, the LSU fans rolling in here. We'll be here until 6 o'clock and until the end of the postgame tomorrow night. Join us now, former LSU quarterback Josh Booty. Man, good to see you. You come to this event every year, whether LSU's here or not. So this is familiar territory, right?
It is. You know, Atlanta's such a fun place and an SEC town. So again, I appreciate you guys having the show here, and I'm glad LSU is in the big game this year. And of course, we're doing a lot of stuff with Rebel XP. The entertainment company, the event company over at Fanfare. So for the next 2 days, a lot of LSU stuff, a lot of Georgia stuff, but we'll have players from every, all the universities of the SEC will be represented, and there'll be some fun stuff going on. So yeah, it's a blast every year, and again, being in Atlanta this time of year is always fun. The weather changes, and you know it's football season, you know it's big game time.
You got an event where Kevin Falk is going to be there. No Sean Marino, former Georgia star, going to be there.
Excited. I love K. Falk, number 3, baby. He getting inducted this year, which is awesome, too, into the College Football Hall of Fame. And No Sean Marino was a great running back. Actually, he was there with Matt Stafford at Georgia at the same time, and they had some great players when he was in college. And, yeah, we're going to do a deal at the Park Bar tonight, 6:30 to 9:30. Which is here in downtown Atlanta, and we're going to have a lot of fun. The tailgate guys are doing it, and it should be a lot of fun.
So when you watch Brian Kelly and this team from the beginning to the end, just talk to me about what, through your eyes, the evolution has been, the progress has been in year one.
Well, I always look at the quarterback position, being a former quarterback, but Jalen Daniels really came on and played big in the big games or in the bigger moments. He made his best plays, and he doesn't turn the ball over, right, and he makes plays with his legs. I think in today's game with the RPO or the PRO, pass run option stuff, you've got to be able to, get to the perimeter quick, either with quick throws or with your feet. Sometimes getting out of the pocket eliminates a lot of the rush and things that defensive coaches have always been able to do 10 or 15 years ago to players and beyond that. But I think that's what I've seen the most is the first game of the season, Florida State, we took one on the chin, but our receivers really didn't get into the action until the last drive of that stinking ball game. And it really bothered me because I think the best talent of our team is in their wide receiver room, right? I think it really is. So, and then the tight ends have emerged too, of course, with Jason Taylor's son being a big factor, especially in the Alabama game. But we got to get the balls to the wideouts, and we did that in the middle of the season. We got the ball to the playmakers, and then Jalen made plays outside the pocket with his feet, and he eludes the rush well. He just kind of got that savvy it factor when it comes to taking it down and making a move. And we hadn't had a lot of quarterbacks at LSU that's had that kind of dynamic. And so it's fun to watch, too. And I've watched him since he was a freshman at Arizona State. I was living out in California and trained quarterbacks in Scottsdale, and he was always around. And so I've seen him since he was, probably 160 pounds, guy. But he always had good feet, and he makes good decisions. And I think that was, you asked me about the season. It's just him making good decisions week in, week out, giving us a chance to win. And I think Brian Kelly kind of understanding him as a player, what he can and can't do, and him being able to probably do more than even Brian Kelly thought he could do in the big games, and it's helped us.
One of the things that Kelly has talked about is going back to the Tennessee game especially, is having him be more aggressive. You talked about his decision-making, and he has done a great job of taking care of the football. I almost want to say at times too careful, and they have said, "Hey, look, go ahead, trust your guys, let it go." Is that what you've seen too?
I have, and I think early on, the receivers wanted the ball quicker out of their breaks. They wanted to see the passes come their way. It almost keeps everybody into the game as a receiver. If you don't get a catch for 2 or 3 quarters, you kind of get phased out of the ball game, right, mentally.
Yeah.
And so for receivers to stay in a game mentally, you got to know it on every play that there's a chance the ball could come to you, and don't be surprised by that. And I think when you watch great quarterbacks like the Patrick Mahomes of the world or Josh Allens of the world or Tom Brady, they facilitate the ball to everybody, and you better have your head on a swivel coming out of your break thinking the ball could be there on time and accurate. And I think that's what he's been able to do a lot more of better as the season has gone on, is getting those guys the ball out of their break, giving them a chance to catch it and make a play, or maybe a one-on-one ball that needs to get thrown up in the air where our big physical receivers can make a catch, and that's a huge part of our offense.
Josh, what's he dealing with as far as trying to play with an ankle? Give me an experience of yours where you were playing where the lower extremity, the ankle, whatever.
Sure.
How do you compensate at that position, especially if you're a quarterback that relies on his legs as much as Daniels does?
I really never had an ankle injury that I remember at LSU. I did in high school, and I think of other players maybe that I was around too that were in the quarterback position or at any position really. If you add a tenth of a second onto your 40-yard dash, right, and you're not a 4.4 guy or you're a 4.5, now you're 4.6, sometimes it's a game of inches, right, and maybe eluding the rush. Or I don't know if you saw the play last night with Josh Allen. He stiff arms the guy out on the perimeter, almost stepped out of bounds, made the play, threw against the grain, and made a touchdown in the back of the end zone for Buffalo against New England. But if he wouldn't have, if his ankle would have been bothering him, he probably would have not made that play, right? Because he probably gets tackled instead of being able to make that stiff arm, just because he's not nearly as fast or quick or as elusive. And I think that's what it might slow him down a little bit. And so he's going to have to find ways for either that not to bother him or to stay almost at the same speed that he played at before, because that's who he is. He makes plays with his legs. We know that. He makes as many plays with his legs as he does his arm. Yeah. And that's that dynamic for him. So he's going to have to, figure that out. If he doesn't have, if he has one of those legs, or if that high ankle sprain, if he's hobbled tomorrow, it's gonna hurt LSU.
What about being able to plant? Is this going to mess up your mechanics when you're trying to plant on a bad wheel?
Yeah, if you're feeling it, of course. And we've seen guys like that hobble out there and try to make plays. Bo Nix. Oregon game, I don't know if you saw the Oregon game. I think they're playing Utah. He bangs his leg up. He couldn't even plant to throw, right?
Yeah.
If it's your right leg, then it's a push-off leg, right? So you gain velocity when you gain momentum towards a throw, right? And you're pushing off and trying to get through your throw towards the receiver. Or if it's your plant leg, then you don't want to get to that front side. It's like in golf. If you don't have a left leg in golf, you're going to hit the ball right because you're hanging back too much. And so there is a lot of little things that can hurt you at the quarterback position, because you're in different you're on different platforms. You're trying to figure out the pocket, right, and what you can and can't do. So I would say short strided as much as possible as a quarterback, because you keep your feet underneath you and try to get the ball out maybe a little bit quicker than you normally do, or make the decisions faster and be decisive. And I think you really have to win maybe the game a little bit more mentally than you would normally just being an athlete with great feet.
Stetson Bennett's a good story. They tried for a long time to replace him, multiple times. I mean, they brought in transfers. They recruited guys, highly recruited guys. They've been trying to replace that cat for years, and he won't let that job go. And he's become a real weapon. And even I thought last year, I said, you know what, this guy persevered. They won the national championship. Mic drop, walk out. He's like, nah, I'm running it back. So when you look at him and what he's done, he doesn't look like John Elway out there, okay? I mean, he's not tall. He doesn't have this bazooka arm. But, man, he makes plays. What do you
does.
say?
I think he's a good leader. Of course, he's been around the program a long time, and he's earned his stripes, right? And everybody believes in him because he doesn't make many mistakes. I was here last year against Bama in the SEC title game in the same building, and he had one pick where it turned kind of the outcome of the game in the wrong direction for Georgia. Bama ended up winning that game. Bryce Young played great, and people were starting to doubt him after one bad play, after one bad drive or outing. And it was like, you know what, this guy has done a ton for the program. Then he comes back and ends up winning the whole darn thing. So the resiliency, right, that he has, and his, I guess his want to, right? He wants to win. He's a leader on the team. He doesn't really make many mistakes at all. He's crafty in the pocket. He can get out of trouble a little bit. He's got the tight ends that take a little pressure off of him, right? The big tight ends he can throw to, getting the ball out, right? They do play action. They do a lot of fun things in some pro set stuff that we're so used to seeing spread nowadays in the RPO game. Yeah. They'll line up and run right at you and play action and boot him out and make easy throws. And then next thing you know, he's got a tight end on a flag route. Boom, touchdown. Or he's got great receivers as well. So I just think he knows what he's doing. He distributes the ball to the right guy. And that's all you have to do as a quarterback. I mean, you don't have to make the miraculous plays. Just make the right play, And I think that's what young quarterbacks with all physical ability, they don't understand that until you have to learn the hard way sometimes. I did it at LSU. I learned the hard way because we're in 3rd and 10 a lot. We weren't a good run team in 99. I'm fogging balls up because we're like, that's the only way we can score is if some miraculous thing happens or something. And I think he's got the right team around him to make him look really, really good because they can do all the little things right, and they block well, and they've got some big dudes.
Last thing, I know you got an event to go to. If you were devising an offensive game plan for LSU to attack this Georgia defense, there's not a whole lot of weaknesses over there. What are you looking to exploit?
Well, I would say we can't make any mistakes. Penalties have hurt us a few times this year. We can't make a lot of penalties. Penalties hurt any ball club, but when you're in 1st and 15 or 1st and 20 or 2nd and 15, second between 3rd and 10, 12, 15, that kills an offense, right? And then you become one-faceted. You have to throw the football. And I think Georgia's too good a defense to where they could pin their ears back and make they dictate the outcome at that point. So we've got to stay kind of ahead of schedule. We've got to run the ball, stay balanced. Jalen's going to have to make a few plays. Our receivers are going to have to break some tackles. Georgia's been great at tackling in space, and that's what people don't understand, how good they are. And I know it's because they got such a competitive team in practice situations. It's got to be really, really competitive because they're so good at, like, all the little things, right? It's like the Alabama teams in the past, us when we're really good. You do all the little things right. Tackling space is important, and I think if we can, scoot out of some tackles and make the big play once or twice, run the ball well, block and protect for Jalen because especially with his leg, if he's not 100%, that's the only way we can win this ball game.
Josh, I always appreciate your time, man. Good to see you.
I love seeing you, brother.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time tomorrow. We'll see if we can hang in there.
It'll be fun.
Ben Mintz has made it to Atlanta.
Oh,
okay.
God.
Ole Miss didn't, but Ben Mintz has made it to Atlanta.
He's a closet LSU fan.
Yeah, I know. We know. We're going to wrap things up with Mintzy here when we come back, and we'll turn it over to Scone. This is Hanny Time, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hanny Time with Charles Hannegriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Tell you every day about One Bath and Closets. You can check them out at onebathandclosets.com. There you can find a bunch of the things that they are able to do for you. You can find pictures, and you can also find some testimonials. This one from Karen said, David completed our bathroom remodel and did an excellent job. He only takes one job at a time, and he completes the work himself. He always showed up when he stated. He kept the job going. There were no delays in the completion. His attention to detail and craftsmanship were excellent, and he got my input every single step of the way to make sure the job turned out as planned. I highly recommend him. 5-star review there from Karen on onebathandclosets.com. That's David Duvall. If you're looking for a new bathroom or some remodel to your bathroom, he can handle that, including tub to shower conversions, and also he can handle your closets. Maybe you don't have enough space, get a licensed contractor in there to create some space. Maybe you do have some space, but you don't know how to effectively use it, and he can put together a more efficient closet for you. And tell him that 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge sent you to One Bath and Closets, 30% off. 30% off from us here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. One Bath and Closets. Check out David Duvall and his team. Check out the website, onebathandclosets.com.
Today's special edition of Football Friday live from Atlanta is presented by Hudco Roofing. Hudco Roofing. Do business with someone you know. Watch us live on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel, and you can hear it on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
We get it done with strength, commitment, dedication, grit.
Let's go, defense!
We get it done with passion for our fans and love for our community. We are the Tigers. Get it done.
Let the values of the purple and gold be in your starting lineup this season. And as always, get it done.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Louisiana. It's a place defined by culture, by pride, by passion, by people who do more than love this place. They celebrate it, elevate it, champion it. They are the individuals who embody what makes Louisiana great. The companies that make Louisiana a better place to work and live. The nonprofits leading transformational change in our communities. Champions of Louisiana are all around us, and LWCC is proud to celebrate them because we've always been Louisiana loyal, supporting the workers, the innovators, the change agents of this great place we call home. Who are the champions around you? Together, we can share their stories. Together, we can help our home state thrive. Together, we are Louisiana.
Jimmy on 10 a.m. to noon every Sunday for Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday. We recap LSU and college football in the first hour, Rohan Davey, and then preview the NFL with punch of picks from 7 different contributing handicappers. That's Magnolia Bluffs Football Sunday, 10 a.m. to noon, right here in 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live from the Big Kahuna in downtown Atlanta, this is Hanny Time with Charles Hanagriff on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Back here at the Big Kahuna. Going to turn it over to Matt Moscona here at the top of the hour. Ben Mintz joining us now. Mintzy, good to see you, man.
Man, it's great to be here, and Big Kahuna, great crowd here. I mean, this place is packed. We got, tons of LSU fans everywhere. I'm just really enjoying, love my relationship with ESPN Baton Rouge. I've been coming on since 17. Obviously, I was down there a few months. Gordy Rush hits me up Sunday night, like, hey, come to this. I got you a room, all that. And I said, okay, man, I'm in. So I'm here.
Well, do I need to get the obligatory Ole Miss joke out of the way?
Go for it, man. I'm here, man. I mean.
Seriously, though, it was a nervous period of a week or so with Lane Kiffin and the Auburn job and how all of that went down. And he ends up, staying there, new contract and, a renewed commitment. How did he do damage in the Ole Miss community with how he handled it?
So I think he did, but I think people, when it comes to your own school, people get so emotional. But if you take a step back and just analyze it, I mean, what did you expect when you got Lane Kiffin? Of course he's going to flirt with other jobs. He's not from Oxford, Mississippi. He's coached at 5 head coaching jobs. I was in denial. Everybody was saying he was gone. I was like, look, nothing's done. I saw how the LSU Brian Kelly stuff went last year where nobody knew it was coming. And I'm at the point where I believe nothing during coaching rumors. It's the agents.
That's a good theory to have.
But it's just the agents and athletic directors. It's just all this posturing and nobody knows anything. But then 2 people who I respect greatly sat me down last Tuesday afternoon and they're like, dude, we love you. We love your positive attitude. You need to really face reality. You're in denial, and you need to accept that he's gone. And it was people I respected, so I was like, okay. So I went from denial to acceptance, and then I was doing the, where you, trick your brain, everything's positive. It's like, well, he gave us 3 good years, and maybe it's a bad ending, and I would have signed up for that 3 years ago. But still, heck no, I didn't want to lose Lane. Because the thing about Lane with Ole Miss is how relevant Ole Miss is nationally with Lane there. I mean, Ole Miss is on the, always talked about. And, you look where it was with Matt Luke before. I mean, you thought it was COVID in the stands. There's so few people there,
Do you think he had a firm offer from Auburn? Because Auburn's going to come out and they're going to say, listen, Freeze was our target all along. That's who we wanted. But I know how these things go. It's like, hey, if we offer the job, would you take it? And if you say no, it's like, well, we never offered you the job. You think he had a firm offer from Auburn?
Stuff I heard was he was talking to him even into Friday, and it broke down on Friday, and the Egg Bowl was Thursday night. He met with the team Wednesday night when everybody thought he was leaving, and he's like, I'm most likely not leaving. Well, what does that mean, most likely? I mean, that's coach speak. I mean, that didn't make me feel any better. And then supposedly he was weighing it back and forth. He was upset about the leaks that got out Monday with the John Sokoloff deal. And, there's some rumors him and Hugh Freeze, some stuff happened there. I don't know everything on that, with the way that went down with Freeze's interviews and all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, I think it was very, very real threat. The stuff I heard at the end, Ole Miss stepped up. They have $9 million a year. There's all these talks about Ole Miss, they can't compete. They don't have the resources. And then Ole Miss has over $10 million in their NIL. Auburn has $7 million. That's a false narrative. And I think the money thing made sense. And then his daughter's a senior at Oxford High. She wants to go to Ole Miss. I think it's, that may have played a role. And I think eventually, But I think it was a real thing, for sure. I think he was definitely thinking about it.
And so this is right out of the Jimmy Sexton playbook. When you want something more at the school you're at, whether it be your salary, coaches on your staff, now NIL dollars, you throw a rumor out there and you shake the hell out of the administration and you go and you get to your big fundraisers and you say, we need this to compete with that. Was that the plan all along?
I think he really was thinking about going the whole time. I think it was a very back and forth deal, and he was undecided, and you could see that by his tweets and stuff. But like I said, I mean, it's Lane Kiffin. What'd you think when we got him? And I think everybody what'd you think he was going to be, just this loyal Oxford, Mississippi guy? I think it's a huge break. He's coming back. I'm ecstatic. And, Ole Miss, everybody's like, oh, it's the end of the world. You lost the Egg Bowl. I mean, if 8-4 is the end of the world at Ole Miss after the teams I've seen through the years, I mean, times have been worse.
No. I'm going to ask one more question about the Egg Bowl, and then we'll move on. For somebody as offensively diverse as Lane Kiffin, and as I think he's a very good game manager. I think, clock management, the whole thing, the way he calls the game, sets up a game, I think is among the tops in college football. So how in the world can he go on a drive where he's down 8 points and you're under 2 minutes and you get all the way down the field and you score a touchdown and you have known for 15 plays that you had to go for 2, not have a play ready and have to burn 2 timeouts? That blew me away.
It blew me away, too. And, I mean, I'm all about trying to make positivity at anything, but I was losing my mind. Because you knew you had to go for 2. How do you not keep the 3 timeouts to get the ball back when your defense is playing
How do you
hard?
not have a play ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that was crazy. They ended up running the Andy Reid special, which actually wasn't a bad play call. The state defender just made a good play on it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was inexcusable. And the other thing when you look at Ole Miss, last Ole Miss point, all year, it's kind of like the anti-LSU thing. LSU's had slow starts all year. I mean, you've seen it, and then the second halves have been great. Ole Miss came out the gate in almost every single game. You saw it at Baton Rouge, 17-3 lead, just jumping people, but they couldn't sustain stuff in the second half. And so it was like people had trouble with the tempo early, and they got to figure that. The second half's rough. So We'll
All right, let's talk about this game for a second. What chance do you give LSU?
So you're going to know more than me on this. Daniels practiced all week. Is he mobile? Because if he can't move.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, but if he can't move, his legs are a great equalizer on this turf. He can run for stuff.
I think I'm going to use the word compromised. Okay, is he 100% tomorrow? Absolutely not. How much he's going to be compromised, only he's going to know when he gets out there for warm-ups tomorrow. So are you going to get 100% of Jaden Daniels? No. Are you going to get some of Jaden Daniels? Yes. What percent? I don't know.
Okay, his legs are such an equalizer, especially on this turf indoors. But I do expect LSU's defense to play a good game. I think Georgia's offense, they've got the 2 elite tight ends. They've got a good running game. But I don't think their offense is like that super elite. And obviously LSU had a horrible effort last week, but they got a lot of pride, and I think they're going to keep them in the game. I'm looking at the under. At 51, I think this game could be a little grindy, even with it being in Georgia Dome. Or, that's usually faster pace on turf. But I think LSU's defense is going to fight hard and keep them in it. It's just, can Daniels move and can LSU score enough points is my thing.
Here's your stat. Since 2018, Georgia has faced 16 top 15 teams, not named Alabama. The game has gone under in 14 out of the 16. So, look, that Georgia defense is elite. I don't think we're not breaking any news there. So the under, it's a reasonable play. Who you liking tonight?
Man, that line is just so ratty. I've watched a lot of Utah this year. They've had these incredible defensive lines the last few years. They don't have that this year. USC should have won that first game. But why is that line 2.5, 3? I thought it came out real short, which sketched me out. I feel like the USC is a super public side, but I still don't think I could go against them. I'm leaning over 66. It's high, but I still think it goes over.
Yeah, that was a 43-42, I think, was the
Yeah, Utah went for 2 at the end.
Yeah, they won the game.
It's been a theme this year, clearly.
And it was the right play at the time, and we said that because you don't want to give Caleb Williams the ball back. If I'm Utah and I've got one play to win the game, and there were 42 seconds, I think, when they ran the play, so it's essentially the end. Yeah, I'm going to take my best shot because if I get into overtime, there's a good chance I'm going to have to go for 2 anyway. Anything else you like? Big
the K-State's fascinating, too. Those lines are so short. It makes me think K-State. My instincts think USC pulls it out and TCU loses. And what will happen, it's just everybody remembers 2014. And granted, Ohio State won the conference championship game that year, but if one lost TCU and one lost Ohio State have that final playoff spot and Ohio State gets in over it, it's going to be, I don't know. I just feel like that's a scenario I'm a little worried about.
Yeah, if USC can't lose, TCU could lose and still get in.
As long as they don't get blown out.
Yeah, I think that's the consensus. Mintzy, good to have you.
Oh, absolutely.
We got 3 more hours with Matt Moscona. We want to thank the folks here at the Big Kahuna. We'll be here tomorrow night for post-game following LSU and Georgia. Pre-game, if you are headed towards Atlanta, will be on starting at 10 a.m. Central from Fanfare at the World Congress Center. It is adjacent to the Mercedes-Benz Dome. I almost said Georgia Dome. The Mercedes-Benz
New day. I apologize.
I want to thank all of our guests here this afternoon for Casey back in the studio, for Danny and Bo here at the Big Kahuna. I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. We'll head you into AFR. That is next. Our continuing coverage of the Southeastern Conference Championship game brought to you by Hudco Roofing on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Nearly half of children in foster care drop out of school. But you can rewrite that story.